into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, well, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Good morning, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a feel-good kickstart to Tuesday morning. How are you doing, sister?
There we go. Doing good. We're all matchy in our pink
Pretty
shades.
in pink this morning, man. So thank you so much for joining us. Had a phenomenal start to the week yesterday. We're going to stay on trend for that today.
Right. And you know, we're celebrating Madiba's legacy this month, and I think every single day going forward.
Yeah.
But we have a great organization, Works for You, which is a really great bridge between where special needs education ends and special needs employment begins. And they gap the two by helping the youth find much needed employment.
Oh man, they use such an awesome pilot project there as well. Then we're going to have a little bit of fun making a leap from the Mario franchise. Captain Toad is treasure tracking this morning. We're going to get onto the Nintendo Switch, have a little bit of fun with Mr. Gareth Woods.
Gotta love Gaming Tuesday. And then also, we need to start off your Tuesday on the right note. We have Drummers Unite SA. They joining us today. They're gonna make sure your day starts off on the best note possible.
Or the best beat, on the right beat.
Bang possible.
Oh, and it's gonna bang this morning. They are absolutely awesome. And I don't know how to feel about this. For our health discussion, we're gonna be looking at the health risks attached to braaiing. Come on, are there any health risks, like eating too much, possibly?
Well,
no, we know.
You get some people that braai every single day.
What's wrong with that? I can't see anything wrong with that at all. But we know a lot of red meat being taken in, but this is South African culture, so you want to stay tuned for that one. We'll get the doc in the house and take your calls as well. But let's get this ship officially out of port this morning. Ewan's got those news details.
Good morning, team. Thank you very much, and a good morning from my side as well. Welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Let's kick it off with your news headlines this morning, starting off with your national news. Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba says his department is doing all it can to end the long wait and queues at their various branches across the country. Gigaba was speaking to the media about progress made with his War on Queues campaign launched in April to reduce the length of time spent waiting in queues at Home Affairs offices. He says at least 9 additional offices would be modernized, bringing the total number of officers with live capture to 193. He also confirmed that his Director General, Mkuseli Apleni, has resigned. Then there are 57.7 million people in South Africa, and more than half of the population is female. That's according to Statistics South Africa's mid-year population estimate report released yesterday. The report also shows that young people between the ages of 15 to 34 years old make up 20.6 million people, 35.7% of the total population. Those aged 65 and over comprise 5.6% of the total population at 3.2 million individuals, and the estimated number of people living with HIV is 7.52 million compared to 4.2 million in 2002. Making your international news this morning, the Zanawe National Park in Mozambique is to receive 200 elephants from South Africa. Since 2010, Mozambique's elephant population has halved due to rampant poaching. The mining company De Beers says it has started an operation to move the 200 elephants it has donated from a nature reserve it owns in Limpopo to neighboring Mozambique. The animals will be tranquilized before being driven in lorries across the border to Zanawe's National Park. De Beers is also to donate $500,000 over 5 years to the Peace Parks Foundation to combat poaching in Mozambique. And lastly, China's President Xi Jinping and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi are due to attend the BRICS summit in Johannesburg today. South Africa's International Relations Minister Lindiwe Sisulu says although BRICS leaders are concerned about the effects a potential full-blown international trade war could have on their countries, the topic will not dominate discussions during this year's summit. Fears of a trade war have been mounting across the globe after US President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Chinese products to the value of $34 million, or billion dollars rather. That's where I leave you news headlines for now. I'll give you those headlines again in half an hour's time.
We kick off our sports wrap up this morning with cricket, and I think we knew it was on the cards. The Proteas suffered a 2-0 series defeat to Sri Lanka as they lost that second test by 199 runs in Colombo yesterday. Starting the day, needing a massive 351 to win, South Africa showed some fight thanks to a maiden century from Tennis de Bruin and 63 from Themba Bavuma, but it wasn't enough as they were eventually bundled out for 290. So up next, we regroup and the two nations face off in a 5-match ODI series, which gets underway this coming Sunday. Then on to football, the opening round of the 2018-2019 PSL season has been confirmed, and it sees the new campaign kicking off on the 4th of August. The season opens with an epic showdown as defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns go head-to-head with Kaizer Chiefs at Loftus Versfeld at 3 o'clock. Elsewhere, last year's runners-up, Orlando Pirates, host Highlands Park, but West Wits are up against Free State Stars, while Cape Town City tackles Supersport United. Then on to international swimming, hopefully bringing a saga to an end now. The United States Doping Agency has handed 12-time Olympic champion Ryan Lochte with a 14-month ban for a doping violation. The 33-year-old American was sanctioned for using an intravenous infusion, a procedure athletes are not allowed to use unless due to hospitalization or via an exemption. So running from the 24th of May when he received the infusion, Lochte's ban will end in July next year. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take a look at the weather.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Well, let's get your Tuesday underway by taking a first look at your temperatures for today. And it seems like a chilly start in most places around the country this morning, with Bloemfontein starting at -1 and KZN can expect sunny and warm temperatures. Polokwane, your minimum for today is 4 and your maximum 22. Mbombela 6, 25. It's sunny in Pretoria today, 6 with a high of 21. Johannesburg 4 with a high of 20, Mahikeng 4 reaching a high of 21, Klerksdorp 2, 21, Kimberley 4 with a high of 21, Bloemfontein starting off on -1 reaching a high of 19 for today, Richards Bay 14 reaching a high of 26, Pietermaritzburg 7, 26, Durban 14 with a high of 25, Mthatha 7 reaching a high of 25. If you're in East London today, a warm day can be expected with a minimum of 15, maximum 30, Cradock 5 reaching a high of 24. Port Elizabeth 12, 27, George 13 reaching a high of 24, Sutherland 6 with a maximum of 20. Partly cloudy in Cape Town today, a low of 12, a high of 19, Worcester 8, 24, Springbok 8 with a high of 27, and sunny conditions in Uppington today with a low of 10 and a high of 24 degrees Celsius. That's where I leave your weather for now. I'll have another update for you in half an hour. I hope you have a fantastic morning.
Thank you very much, Zoe. Well, it might be chilly where you are, but we'll keep it nice and cozy here on your favorite breakfast show this morning. Quickly, we live in a world that is constantly changing. We know this. Life seems to be getting faster and faster by the day. So as we welcome today, which I cannot believe, the 24th of July already, we quickly take a look at what happened on this day in history. 24th of July, dude.
This year is flying, but let's take you way, way back to 1978, where then 18-year-old Margaret Gardner became the very first South African Miss Universe.
Wow,
Isn't
and look
she
at
a
that
picture? Absolutely love her on the show. She is one of the coolest people and continuously giving back as well to that Crown legacy.
Absolutely,
awesome stuff,
absolutely. And then also quite an interesting one. On this day in 1987, Hulda Crooks, at 91 years of age, climbed Mount Fuji and became also the oldest person to climb Japan's highest peak. 91, dude.
How beautiful that is. Well done. Now that is
What
life goals
an achievement.
right there. Then we go now to 2001, not so long ago, when Simeon Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, the last Tsar of Bulgaria, was sworn in as Prime Minister of the country, becoming the first monarch in history to regain political power through democratic election. Awesome stuff, man.
Nice.
So democracy reigns supreme.
I love that. Some heavy hitters this morning for this day in history. Well, that's our bite-sized dose of history. Seize the day, go make it one for the books, or simply just make it awesome. It's your day.
Well, we are taking a very quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show. It is Gaming Tuesday, and today we're going to review the game Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I had to say it very slowly. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. That's coming up, and of course we'll take a look at a fantastic organization that's helping kids with special needs find employment. All of that and a whole lot more coming up after the break.
Kan niet van bro.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an awesome, quite a fun-filled day already, and I think it's going to stay in that lane for the rest of today. But I think there is a huge importance, obviously stemming from Mandela Day on the 18th. Throughout this entire year, we are celebrating what would have been the centenary of Tata Madiba, and we've been loving the fact that it gives us an opportunity not only to remember the man, to remember his legacy and live up to that, but also remember some of his incredible words of wisdom. He was an incredible orator and an unbelievable statesman who inspired us with his words. So we've been bringing you a quote every day, and we're going to continue doing that. But today's one, really special.
That's really special. I've really been enjoying what we've been doing because every single day we get
so much to think about.
So much insight. Well, today's quote from this icon is, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. And I think communication is so important, especially in a country like ours where we have 11 official languages. That's taking the quote literally, but I think this is so incredibly true and something we can still apply to our lives every single day. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head, but if you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart.
I think he was a master of the mind, but more importantly, a master of the heart. He knew South Africa's heart. So hopefully that's inspired you to go out there and stay true to the Madiba legacy in whatever you are doing today. And I think very much in that vein, we turn now to an incredible organization when we start talking about Mandela's legacy and what it means being lived every single day. This next story really does fit that bill. Having a real paying job doesn't just do the world of good from an income perspective, but it gives you a sense of dignity, a sense of self-worth, a sense of community, and of course that creative and personal fulfillment.
That's right. Well, for those of us with intellectual disabilities, a job is no less important, and Work for You is a fantastic social enterprise that acts as a bridge from where special needs education ends and supported employment begins.
Run by occupational therapists, Work for You runs work skills training programs and a supported employment process to empower those wanting to work to join the real job market.
Work for You as an organization has at its heart finding real and meaningful occupation and work for youngsters with intellectual disabilities, and we help them to prepare and find employment in the open labour market. And of course we also help them to retain that position over a period of many years. The most difficult problem that anybody with any disability for that matter faces is the fear that people out there who are not disabled have. And so we come alongside and we say to the employer, you don't have to fear employing this person because we are there to help you cope with any of the problems you might encounter with this person.
The vehicle for training young adults in work habits, social and work skills, as well as integration into the job market, is a purpose-designed pet snack business.
Work for You is a social enterprise, but we're also a non-profit organization. So what we have done is we have our pet treat manufacturing side of our business. So that is what we call Wagalots for dogs and Purlots for cats. Primary goal with the Wagalots and baking process is to provide an avenue for training the work skills so that our members are not actually viewed as students. They're viewed as real workers and members of staff. The thing that I enjoy most is knowing that when I walk through the doors, I'm going to be greeted with happy faces, friendly people, and in fact a group of youngsters that would much rather be at work than sitting at home.
what I've learned here about at Work For You, who taught me here at Work For You is to, and how to become a very good employee, and which is very proactive, and how to learn very good life skills. Well, what I mostly really enjoy here about Work For You is where we have met everyone here who are all the team members of Work For You and who I've made good friends with. Yes, and that we are all a very good teamwork as we all work together with all this Wagalop dog biscuit baking.
Rules at work, like behave, smile, greeting, help, stop, listen, goodbye. And I'm going to give you rules. No swearing, no fighting, no funny sounds. I joined rolling, cutting, and fold, like mixing dough from dogs' biscuits and cats' biscuits.
I've learned to travel safe and having respect for current people, adults, being more matured. I like hand working, like working with cooking stuff.
It is now the 12th year that Work For You continue to successfully place our fellow job seekers with intellectual disabilities in meaningful work. Long may they prosper.
Oh, long may they prosper indeed. Work For You doing an unbelievable job. So thank you so much for all of your efforts. Can't believe how far they've come. So after all that hard work, time for a little bit of play. Gareth Woods is back on the couch to tackle Nintendo Switch's latest puzzle game. And we're going to bring in another famous character from the Mario world. It is Captain Toad on a treasure tracker.
Right, let's get into some gaming on your Feel Good Breakfast Show this morning. Now, back in 2013, Super Mario 3D World's Adventures of Captain Toad challenges impressed Shigeru Miyamoto so much he demanded a full game be made out of them. Now, 1 year later, we got Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, a charming little puzzle adventure platformer now finding a new home on the Nintendo Switch. And of course, as always, we have our man that knows everything about games, Gareth Woods, in studio. How are you, my brother?
He likes to think that he does.
Well, you know what? You've been impressing us all with these games.
Thank you.
Because I think nobody actually plays as much as you do. Maybe that's why.
I can play as much as I want to.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, man, this is okay. Cool. Let's talk. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, set, of course, in the Mario universe. What unique gameplay can we expect out of this one, man? It looks fun.
Yeah. So what I'm loving about it is just this really cool, feel-good sort of game. Pretty simple to start, but then it kind of like ramps up the difficulty here. So, for example, in this one, I've got two little Captain Toads.
So you're playing with both controllers?
Yeah. No, I'm playing with one. Well, they control the same person.
Oh, okay.
But essentially, I've got to get both guys into where I need to get them by using the maze to sort of like block their path. So if I need this guy on the P and this guy, I can get them both there.
Wow, okay.
Moving along. So essentially the goal is you've got to get the 3 gems and get to the star. There it is up there in the top there, and that finishes the stage. But obviously, like any puzzler, there are other sort of objectives to complete in the meantime. But what's great is it's kind of completely, I can change the angle because there's certain areas I can't see. For example, like if I go down here, I'm gonna have to get to there, and let's get our characters into that gap there. So that
talk about like pulling your brain in different directions.
Yeah,
man.
it's great. I've really enjoyed it because they introduce a new concept pretty much every time you play. So now there's a little bit of a 2D bit as I go here.
The iconic sounds.
Yeah,
yes,
collecting coins. Is there anything more iconic? Cool. Now we drop down. Let's give that guy a migraine as we fall down here and slowly work our way down. Now, for example, like this guy will go into that other room and I can turn the camera. Oh, there's the other gem. Sweet.
Did it take you a little bit of time to get used to?
What's great is they introduce the concepts fairly steadily. So this is about the 6th level.
Yeah.
So like the first level, it's really like the basic stuff. 2nd level, they'll introduce some enemies. 3rd level, maybe a bit of a time trial so that you have to hustle a little bit as you do your thing. There we go. We managed to get the end.
Isn't You're just adorable. Hey, look at that. Gareth got the biggest smile I've ever seen in your face, dude. For a game that is about 4 years old, having it now on the Switch as well, I mean, what can returning players expect from this one? I mean, you seem to be loving it.
So obviously, I mean, as we said before, just the joy of being able to sit here in either handheld position or on the couch playing like this. Obviously, it's changed from the Wii U, which used the second screen thing, you know, a little bit differently than we do here. And then obviously, as you see, the graphics are just they're gorgeous. Yeah.
Okay, so you can't actually go about jumping on this guy?
No, so I have to go sneak and get this little turnip or whatever it is, and
did you just kick him?
Yeah, whack him in the back. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's fun. Dude, last thoughts. Yes?
Yeah, so absolutely love it. It's really engaging. It's I won't say it's a slow burn, but you kind of, it develops the concepts nice and like steadily, so you don't feel what the heck is going on. Because I think for a lot of people, puzzlers, the key to them being fun and addictive is that there's a simple concept that's done well, and that you kind of introduce new concepts as you go along.
Yeah.
So.
And as beautiful and as friendly as it does look, I mean, it still poses a bit of a challenge for you as well, definitely.
Oh, I've aggroed that guy. So yeah, certainly it has something for everyone, especially if you're a puzzle fan, if you're a Mario fan. And there's a 2-player mode as well, so you can play with a buddy.
Okay.
But so this is, I'm obviously...
And I love the fact there's a bit of a storybook kind of going on here.
It's got a story mode and all that, and then you can, it shows your best times and how many... Oh no, it shrank a little bit.
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, you can try and beat your previous score and, you know...
Very cool,
challenge
man.
friends to that, yeah.
Gareth, thank you very much. There we have it. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker on the Nintendo Switch. Brilliant, beautiful game, well put together. Gareth seems to love it as well. And if you love it, if you want to get your hands on it, maybe you've played it before, let us know what you think about this one on our Feel Good Breakfast Show Facebook page as well with that hashtag Expresso Show. What are you doing?
It said gesture control. I've only played this in handheld mode, so now I'm spinning this thing.
Looks like a fun game.
Oh, man, too much fun. We are a bunch of big kids on set. Thank you so much, Mr. Gareth Woods. We're going to take the quickest of breaks, then we're going to turn to our tech daily update, taking a look at a brand new device that can actually measure your stress levels through your stress levels, i.e. your cortisol levels, something very useful when it comes to small children with speech defects especially, but really interesting stuff. Strange but true.
Very, very interesting. And then we also have Drummers Unite SA in studio. They're celebrating their 5th anniversary at the end of this week, and they are setting a new world record. We'll tell you more about that after the break.
It's another edition of the Afternoon Express Cook-Along live at 4:30 p.m. only on SABC3. And today we're joined by comedian and actress Khanyisa Bunu, and she started her career as a teacher and made a name for herself when she entered the reality show So You Think You're Funny on SABC1. And on screen, she's best known for her role in the popular sitcom series Ses Topla alongside Trevor Gumbi. That's Afternoon Express weekdays at 4:30 p.m. on SABC3. The stage is yours.
Guys, don't stop, let's just keep playing.
It's my feel-good breakfast.
You know what that funky beat means. Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Time for a Tech Daily Update. And we've got some awesome stories.
Very awesome. Well, if I have to say Rolls-Royce, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
I think royalty. I think old school, hey?
Rich, you know, luxury.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
The
a
original.
car brand that, you know, you automatically associate with. But did you know that Rolls-Royce is also the second largest manufacturers when it comes to aircraft engines? And what they've done is they're now entering the world of robotics, and in collaborating with engineers at the University of Nottingham and Harvard University, they're developing this. And by this, I'm talking about a teeny tiny beetle-like robot that is able to crawl into hard-to-reach parts of an aircraft engine to inspect and repair. And it's equipped with a camera and a 3D scanner, and it will allow engineers to remotely access issues in the engine areas. And it only weighs 1.4 kilograms, and the plan is to deploy a swarm of them into, you know, little robots into an engine, and which will work together to perform an inspection and, of course, try and rectify
1.4 grams, actually, the weight there. That's
Did I say kilograms? I mean grams.
That is crazy. First of all, the fact that they still found space to get a Rolls-Royce logo on the thing. I know this is probably a rendering of what it's going to look like, but imagine what these things could do in flight with emergency situations, where this is going. Incredible, brave new world that we live in. Now, this next story is a bit more human-related. At least it attaches itself to, I think, the age-old human response of fight or flight. We know cortisol, it's called the stress hormone, and it's released in our bodies when we are under stress, when that adrenaline kicks in. During times of extreme stress, we experience a spike in cortisol, and the current methods of measuring our cortisol levels they just take too long for us to actually utilize that understanding that information in any kind of relevant way. Well, now a team of scientists at Stanford University have developed a stretchy patch that can be stuck directly to the skin to measure the cortisol levels and give the wearer valuable immediate readings on those levels. And one really interesting application can be applied with children with verbal or communication issues, that parents can then know as soon as that child is feeling stress, which is often the precursor to them acting out for those patterns, those physical patterns to kick in. They can tell them and they can subvert that. But it'll have a range of applications. But this is quite a leap forward in understanding how the body works and being able to react to that in very stressful times. And I know a lot of parents out there, this could be something that really does help them out through a very, very stressful, excuse the pun, time when dealing with their children. So awesome, awesome stuff. Are you feeling stressed?
That's quite cool, that a wearable device can be used, you know, detect stress from your sweat. That's pretty impressive.
I wonder, I know it doesn't look like we're stressed, but this is quite a stressful environment. I wonder how much cortisol goes around in the studio. But some awesome stuff. You can let us know what you thought of both of those unbelievable new tech revelations. Hit us up on our @Expresso Show handle on all of our social media platforms.
Love it. Thank you very much, guys. Right now, though, let's quickly take another look at your news headlines this morning. Starting off with your national news, Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba says his department is doing all it can to end the long wait and queues at their various branches across the country. He said at least 9 additional offices would be modernized, bringing the total number of offices with live capture to 193. Then there are 57.7 million people in South Africa, and more than half of the population is female. Young people between the ages of 15 to 34 years old make up 35.7% of the total population. Making your international news headlines this morning, the Zanawe National Park in Mozambique is to receive 200 elephants from South Africa. The animals are being donated by the mining company De Beers and will be moved from a nature reserve the company owns in Limpopo province. And China's President Xi Jinping and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi are due to attend the BRICS summit in Johannesburg today. The topic of a possible international trade war is not expected to dominate discussions at this year's summit, but we'll expand on those stories at the top of the hour. Right now, let's get into your sport.
I think we knew it was on the cards. We start with cricket this morning, and sadly the Proteas suffering a 2-0 series defeat to a dominant Sri Lanka as they lost that second test by 199 runs in Colombo yesterday. So up next, we look forward to hopefully a reborn team in the 5-match ODI series getting underway this coming Sunday. Then, while there is still a massive question mark hanging over the appearance of Ajax Cape Town, the opening round of the 2018-2019 PSL season has indeed been confirmed, and it sees Mamelodi Sundowns up against Kaizer Chiefs, Pirates hosting Highlands Park, while Cape Town City, they'll be tackling SuperSport United. And then controversy in the world of swimming. The United States Doping Agency has handed 12-time Olympic champion Ryan Lochte with a 14-month ban for using an intravenous infusion last year. Of course, we will give you more details on all of those stories on the top of the hour. Right now, let's see if the roads have woken up.
Well, let's take a first look at your roads for this morning in Gauteng. Germiston, we're starting over there as there's been an accident on the N3 northbound at the Elands interchange. 2 lanes have been closed and delays can be expected from the Reading interchange, so allow for some extra travel time this morning. I'll bring you another update in half an hour, but first let's take a look at your weather, and it seems like most parts of the country can expect a chilly start. Bloemfontein starting off on -1. But looking at those temperatures, we start off in Polokwane, a low of 4 with a high of 22. Mbombela 6 reaching a high of 25. Pretoria 621. Johannesburg 4 with a high of 20. Sunny conditions in Mahikeng, a low of 4, a high of 21. Cloudsdorp 2 reaching a high of 21. Kimberley 421. Bloemfontein -1 with a high of 19. Richards Bay 14 with a high of 26. Pietermaritzburg 7 reaching a high of 26. Sunny in Durban today, a low of 14, a high of 25. Mthatha 7 with a high of 25. East London 15:30. Cradock 5:24. Port Elizabeth 12:27. Partly cloudy in George with a low of 13, a high of 24. If you're in Sutherland, 6 with a high of 20 can be expected for today. Cape Town 12:19. Worcester 8 with a high of 24. Springbok 8:27, and sunny conditions in Uppington, a low of 10 and a high of 24 degrees Celsius. I'll bring you another update in half an hour.
So now, time to introduce you to the incredible gents to my right, record breakers, or at least we hope they are going to set a brand new Guinness World Record. They are part of Drummers Unite. I'm talking about Lance, Chadley and Jason. Looking far too dapper this morning, guys. Welcome to it.
Thank you.
Thanks for bringing your A game. Loving the sound check already. About 5 years ago, you guys tried to do something miraculous and became a bit of an internet sensation. You're at it again. Lawrence, what's going down, man? What are you attempting to do? The Guinness World Record, that is something heavy, man. Doesn't come lightly, man.
That's actually something insane.
Yeah.
You know, so 5 years back, you know, I had a show at Braai with about 20 drummers on one stage.
Wow. That sounds like a lot. 20 drummers sound.
Exactly.
And sounds,
exactly,
you know, excuse the pun.
And then in 2014 or 2015, if I'm correct, you know, we had 74 drummers on one stage.
Sure. That sounds like even more.
And on Friday coming, the 27th, we hope to have about just over 100 on one stage playing at the same time.
Sure. And will this be a Guinness World Record if you can get this right?
Well, we aim actually to go for the Guinness World Record in December, with you know by going for 1,000 drummers playing together at the same time. 1,000 drummers at the same time.
For someone like me, Taylor, who's completely not musical at all, the idea of having 2 drummers playing in unison is pretty difficult. What does it take to get a group this large to play in unison, or is it an easy thing? You just like tap the stick and everyone's like, okay, we're together. How difficult is something like this going to be?
I don't think it's easy. I'm not a drummer, just by the way. I'm a bass player, but I've been there, you know, from the start with Lance and the crew. And man, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, technology these days, you know, with click tracks and back tracks and all that stuff makes things very easy.
Typical bass player, he's chilled. I don't have to do it, you guys do it, but you can do this, man, you can do this. Jason, what's the motivation here? I get a sense that you guys really are inspired by the work that you do, but this is not your everyday kind of a thing. Well, personally, why are you wanting to get involved and do something like this?
Because I think, like Lance said, it's a Guinness World Record thing that we're busy with, and also to get so much drummers, and I'm a drummer and a percussion player, so to be a part of it is something really special for me. as well, being a percussionist.
When you say percussion, it's like cowbell,
yeah,
rice
shaker. So all of it fits in with the drums. And I mean, you can actually have a lot of drummers playing at the same time, each individual guy playing a different rhythm and filling it, you know what I'm saying? Making it sound like beautiful. Like
and it's going to break the internet if you guys get this right. You do understand. It's going to be truly phenomenal.
We want to break the internet.
Something like this is... it's inspiring and it's awesome for young musicians to see you guys giving back to your craft like this. What is the motivation here? It's not just about doing something cool. I get a sense you guys have a deeper meaning.
Yeah, no, you know, I would always say, you know, this whole event or this whole concept is God inspired.
I love it. Yeah.
You know, and I mean, if we can inspire our youth out there, you know, whether you're on drugs, whether you were on drugs, you know, if we can do it, you can do it. You know, so I think it's all about, you know, just making a positive impact in our communities.
Absolutely. Well, you've done it already, and you're going to do it on a completely different level, but I'm loving the fact we've got you just for us this morning. We're going to squeeze as many percussionists as we can. I'll try to tap my foot.
You can join us.
You've got a rice shaker. Give me a rice shaker. But no, all due respect, man, you guys are doing something truly special, and you are all incredibly talented in your own right, so thank you for blessing us with that this morning. Looking forward to having you guys perform. It is Drummers Unite SA. You can check them out online to see some of their past achievements, but going for the big one by December, hopefully have 1,000 drummers performing at the same time. In time.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
The excitement is real, man.
Yes.
I can't wait for these guys to perform this morning, so don't miss it. Listen, we're going to be taking a very quick break. When we come back, it's all about health, and we're going to give you advice on how to recover from the common cold the first time around before it turns into that nasty secondary infections like an earache or a pneumonia or chest infection, anything like that. So we're going to sort you out.
We want to avoid that completely, and leading off that, we'll also bring you some healthy hacks to boost your overall nutrition. That and a whole lot more coming up after the break.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso here on SABC3. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know there is a lot of serious news going around, so let's lighten the tone just a little bit. Get into what our stars have been getting up to across Mzansi world.
That's right. Well, it's celebrations as TV presenter Lerato Kganyago celebrated her 36th birthday in style. This is over the weekend, and it was a star-studded party like no other. And the SAFTA award-winning celebrated her birthday by throwing herself a big party at the Meat Lounge in Johannesburg, and it was attended by many of her celebrity friends such as Pearl Thusi, DJ Zinhle and Euphonic. And although Lerato turned 36, her friends gave her balloons with the words Happy 21st written on it, which I think is very fitting.
Yeah, 100%.
Doesn't look a day older than 21.
She is gorgeous,
I know. So happy birthday to you.
Tapelo, man.
How cute.
I'm just looking at the crowd of people there. It's like all industry mates, such a nice group of people, which speaks volumes about the girl. So happy birthday,
Happy
man.
birthday.
Happy 21st birthday.
Yes. And now we're moving on to some dating rumors. Now, in an interview with DJ Fresh on the Fresh Breakfast Show, Emmy-nominated actress Thuso Mbedu cleared the air about her rumored relationship with presenter Musa Mtombeni, sorry. Now, when Mpho from the Fresh team joked about picturing Thuso's future kids with Musa, the actress, who was clearly caught off guard, said, "You can picture them in your mind because that's where they would be forever." Yeah, and then DJ Fresh questioned her about something, but she also went on to say that I can be a godmother to his future kids that way, but otherwise, ish, guys. She responded and she says, "There's definitely nothing between myself and Musa Mtombeni." Now,
thou dost protest too much, I think.
Well, Musa has also previously addressed his relationship with Thuso, setting the record straight by saying he and the actress have been good friends for a while. So
people are going to talk. People are going to talk, and they obviously have a great chemistry together, which people are going to read into. But it's crazy in this world that you actually have to qualify these things. It's their private life, so regardless, but absolutely love that. Some feel-good stories to get you going. Some water cooler talk to take you through your day. Hopefully that's brought you up to speed. We'll tackle our international entertainment news a little bit later in the show.
Thank you very much, guys. On to our health right now. Now, a couple of us here at Expresso have been down and out with a cough or a cold. Our poor Leanna is not feeling so great at the moment, so I think we can definitely relate to this next story. Nearly every parent is familiar with this scenario, all right? Your young child gets a cold. After 7 to 10 days, they're better, and then before you know it, they're just sick again. But this time around, the infection turns into an ear infection or a nasty chest infection. And this can happen 8 to 10 times a year. Scary, often requiring repeated use of antibiotics. So how do we improve this situation? Well, I went on the hunt for some valuable information to tackle the cold head-on the first time.
We discussed these infections with Dr. Peter Fisher, Director of Research at the Royal London Hospital for Integrated Medicine and physician to Her Majesty the Queen. We asked why children get ill so often.
Well, I think, if anything, immunity levels, strangely, have declined. And this may be due to early influences. One thing that we do know for certain is that asthma has become much more common. And the reason for this appears to be the hygiene hypothesis. Kids are too clean these days. It does seem that children, for instance, children who are raised on farms get less asthma. Children who have older siblings get less asthma than other children. And that seems to be because they're exposed to particular kinds of bugs earlier in their life. That helps their immune system to mature. So possibly, I mean, it sounds paradoxical, but as a result of children being too clean, not getting exposed to bacteria early in life, their immune systems develop more slowly. And there is some evidence that upper respiratory tract infections are getting more common. RTI is respiratory tract infections. And we divide them into two kinds, the so-called URTIs, upper respiratory tract infections, meaning coughs and colds, ear infections, and lower respiratory tract infections, which means bronchitis, that sort of thing, croup, bronchiolitis, which is similar to asthma, but young children don't get asthma, they get bronchiolitis, meaning inflammation of the very small airways, and they can get pneumonia. There is a vicious cycle linking upper respiratory tract infections and lower respiratory tract infections with the use of antibiotics, with time off school, and then you get into a vicious cycle that, having had that once, you're more likely to get it again and more likely to require antibiotics. And part of the problem is that when you use antibiotics, they will kill maybe 98% of the bacteria. But the 2% they leave behind are the really vicious ones, the ones that are really difficult to treat, and they may raise their ugly head. A few of them will hang around, and when the child is again vulnerable because of a respiratory tract infection, they will rear their ugly head, and you will have an infection that is very difficult to treat.
Which begs the question, can we prevent our children from getting sick so often and avoid them developing the more serious infections? Dr. Fisher says yes.
My recommendation for treating and preventing RTIs in children is, first of all, good hygiene. So sneeze into a tissue, blow your nose into a tissue, and throw it away afterwards, and wash your hands. So that means the parent has to make sure the child does so. So good hygiene, it must be the sort of bedrock of prevention. But then after that, Echinophos for children is certainly a useful option. First of all, it's safe. Very rare to get allergic reactions or any serious problem. Unlike some of the other options, a whole lot of cod medicines for children have been taken off the market because they are dangerous. They can actually make the chest situation worse, suppress the cough, but actually make the long-term problem worse. So Echinophos for children is certainly a useful option because you can use it safely at an early stage. Above all, what you want to do is to avoid a respiratory tract infection escalating. Of course, coughs and colds are ubiquitous in children. We're not trying to pretend they shouldn't get them. But what we do want to stop is them developing into, for instance, middle ear infections, which can be extremely painful and can even go chronic. You can get what they call chronic glue ear, which causes deafness, and that actually has been shown to be associated with worse school performance. Children who are deaf, not surprisingly, don't do as well as school. And then there are other, really serious problems: croup, bronchiolitis, even pneumonia. By nipping these respiratory tract infections in the bud, you can prevent these really nasty complications. Echinophos for children can be used preventively. There is good quality evidence showing that if you give children Echinophos Junior daily during the cold season, basically during the winter, you will reduce the chances of them getting a cough or cold by about 1/3 and reduce the chances of them getting a lower respiratory tract infection, that's to say bronchiolitis, croup, those kind of really nasty things, by 2/3, 67%, and reduce their use of antibiotics by a similar number, by around 70%.
Making it so much easier for parents is that Echinophos Junior is a chewable, tasty, orange-flavored tablet, which helps prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications in children from as young as 2 years old.
Impressive indeed. Now, next week is our grand finale for the Echinophos Switzerland series, and we've got some rather exciting news to reveal as well. For the first time, the world has clinical proof of the effectiveness of echinacea in children in the form of A. Vogel's Echinophos, and next week we are going to reveal the intricacies of this breakthrough study to you.
A. Vogel's Echinophos is the world's strongest herbal product that's clinically proven to prevent and treat colds, flu, and their complications.
So let's continue now with our health discussion. One conversation that's actually been running over a couple of weeks now. We've invited Dr. Darren Green to share a couple of his health hacks with a Be Well. And there are a number of ways that we can support our good health in our children, create that culture early. And today we're going to learn how to keep sickness at bay, continue that conversation as well. When our kids are faced with the very busy and quite intense and pressure-filled second half of the year. And it is quite intense, man. We kind of painted with a brush that our life is difficult and kids have it easy, but any child is going through the same kind of emotional stress, just relative to their world. So, Doc, welcome back. I know we're going to be talking Braai a little bit later, but let's focus on some of those healthy cooking hacks and some healthy hacks. You've given us some brilliant ones. Let's kick it off this morning. What are we focusing on this morning, first of all?
Well, it's all about kids today. So I think as parents, we need to try and create a culture at home where the relationship with food is better understood. People need to realize they need to teach their children what the role of food is in our lives. It's not only a comfort, people use it as a crutch, instant, immediate, but there's also multi-sensory experience, the textures, the tastes. It's also about, obviously, looking at the relationship long-term with food, how much to eat, portion sizes, what's good for you, what's not. And it's a wonderful opportunity to enjoy the narrative, the storytelling behind the carrot, to go behind the broccoli, and so forth. The colours of food.
The carrot, the unsung hero of the salad.
So there's a lot to be said about that relationship with food.
Completely. It's bizarre to me, just like learning about our body and how to stay healthy in that sense. We often pick up these lessons as young adults, not as children. But there's an advantage for the entire family, for the parents as well. So let's jump right in there. What is your first health hack for kids?
The first one is breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Really?
So, we cannot afford to miss it. Children need brain food. The rate at which those neurons are growing and being activated, and the pathways, the wiring happening at school in terms of physical ability, motor function, learning, etc., is massive. So they need good brain food. They need a sustained supply of fuel over time. So the slow release, the low GI energy nutrients over time are essential. In that way, we think of things like oatmeal, your whole grains, obviously your nuts. Important to get nuts into their diet, and that's provided they don't have nut allergy, obviously.
Yeah.
And then teach them, obviously, about those low GI foods, and incorporate that into a good tasting recipe, so that they develop a long-term relationship with that kind of thing.
Because I think that's generally, you mentioned those crutches earlier, we reward with the healthy, the nice tasting stuff, and often then it places in direct opposition
to the
healthy
ice
stuff.
cream.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to kind of be on the same page with that. In terms of preparing healthy meals in the kitchen, what tips do you have?
So I don't know how many parents do, but it's an incredible opportunity to bond when you actually invite your children into the kitchen.
Make them part of the
process. Make them part of the process. Plan the meal together. Ask them what they'd like to see on their plate. And then prepare it, because in that way you can teach them about the good and bad fats in life. You can teach them about olive oil that's best had cold. You can teach them about sunflowers and where that oil comes from. Canola flowers, and why canola oil is generally better for you than sunflower oil in terms of the good and the bad fats. How much to cook with. How much of a teaspoon should you be putting in the food when you're braising onions, or when you're putting something in the oven, for example. So incorporate them into that process, and you'll see it's a bit of a bonding time, but also an educational time. So yeah.
It's like you're going to enter your child into a master chef or something, dude. No, but it's awesome. You can learn often when you're teaching and going through that process. But and I was going to mention Instagram as well. There are so many platforms, Pinterest, places that you can get inspiration to make it that much more fun. This kind of leads into my next question in a way. Snacking, that's where as adults we fall victim and we set the wrong example completely, because you need like a sugar spike, or at least that's what you think, what's been drummed into your head, but you need quick energy. But that's often not necessarily the case. So how do we get those healthy habits in when it comes to snacking?
I think preparation is key. Like adults struggle to eat properly and not buy takeaways all the time when we're at work or on the run, or working late shifts, for example. We stop at the garage and eat pies, most of us. But what we need to do is actually plan the day. And if you have access to a refrigerator, even better, you can put your lunchbox in the refrigerator at work. If you don't, then you need to choose foods that aren't going to go off with temperature. So with children, make the snacks at home, the energy bars that are made with ingredients you can control. How much sugar,
dates,
how much
nuts,
butter.
and healthy things.
Date coconut balls, for example, amazing snack for kids.
And the crazy thing is, when you buy so many of these things in retail, they're like so expensive, but you can make them yourselves and you can have a lot of fun doing that as well.
Very simple.
Doc, thank you so much. I know you're going to stick around. We're going to continue our health chat, being a Tuesday morning. We're going to get into the braai culture. It's actually making me a little bit nervous. If I could braai every day, I would. But there you have it, South Africa. This week's health hacks for kids. Most important to feed those developing brains and bodies. Implement the changes above and then stay in tune. Of course, for more health hacks with Dr. Darren Green to get you and your family on the road to a better you. This week's health hack is proudly brought to you by Be Well. Choose Be Well, choose your health, switch to canola.
Well, your health is certainly important to us. So for today's Medical Tuesday chit-chat with Dr. Darren Green, it's not going to be chit-chat. Hopefully it won't scare us too much when we talk about the health risks about a braai culture. I mean, as South Africans, we love a good braai, but we'll make sure you do it the healthy way.
Exactly. It's who we are, man. It's who we are. Listen, and then also we're gearing up for an epic performance. Drummers Unite SA. We spoke to the gents a little bit earlier on. They're performing for us right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for choosing to tune in on this Tuesday morning. It's about to get that much more feel good with a brilliant performance of 29 on Hillary. It's SA Drummers Unite. Gentlemen, What was going on with the little salsa feet action going on there, man? How did the rest of you concentrate? Jace, that was amazing. You are percussion and you brought the smallest cymbal on the planet into studio. Absolutely love that. Drummers Unite, SA, here to perform just for you, of course. By the end of this year, they're going for that Guinness World Record of 1,000 drummers, percussionists in one place. You're off to a flying start. What a pleasure hosting these gents. You can let us know what you thought of that performance at Expresso Show is the handle to use. Let's get back into those news headlines.
Thank you, Graham. 7 o'clock, let's run you through news headlines on your Tuesday morning. Starting off with your national news, Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba says his department is doing all it can to end the long wait in queues at their various branches across the country. Gigaba was speaking to the media about progress made with his War on Queues campaign launched in April to reduce the length of time spent waiting in queues at Home Affairs offices. He said at least 9 additional offices would be modernized, bringing the total number of offices with live capture to 193. He also confirmed that his Director General, Mkuseli Apleni, has resigned. Then there are 57.7 million people in South Africa and more than half of the population is female. And that's according to Statistics South Africa's mid-year population estimate report released yesterday. The report also shows that young people between the ages of 15 to 34 years old make up 20.6 million people. That's 35.7% of the total population. Those aged 65 and over comprise 5.6% of the total population at 3.2 million individuals. And the estimated number of people living with HIV is 7.52 million compared to 4.2 million in 2002. In your international headlines this morning, the Zanawe International Park or National Park in Mozambique is to receive 200 elephants from South Africa. Since 2010, Mozambique's elephant population has halved due to rampant poaching. The mining company, De Beers, says it has started an operation to move the 200 elephants it has donated from a nature reserve it owns in Limpopo to neighboring Mozambique. The animals will be tranquilized before being driven in lorries across the border to Zanawe National Park. De Beers is to donate $500,000 over 5 years to the Peace Parks Foundation to combat poaching in Mozambique. And lastly, China's President Xi Jinping and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi are due to attend the BRICS summit in Johannesburg today. South Africa's International Relations Minister Lindiwe Sisulu says although BRICS leaders are concerned about the effects of a full-blown potential trade war could have on their countries, the topic will not dominate discussions during this year's summit. Fears of a trade war have been mounting across the globe after US President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Chinese products to the value of $34 billion. That's where we leave you news headlines at 7. We'll get into those headlines once again in half an hour's time.
We start our sports roundup with cricket this morning, and I think we knew it was on the cards. The Proteas suffered a 2-0 series defeat to Sri Lanka, losing the second test by 199 runs in Colombo yesterday. Starting the day needing 351 to win, South Africa did so show some fight thanks to a maiden century from Tienis de Bruin and 63 from Themba Bavuma, but it wasn't enough as they were eventually bundled out for 290. So up next, we regroup and the two nations face off in a 5-match ODI series, which will hopefully be a bit more evenly matched. That gets underway this coming Sunday. Then on to football, with still a question mark hanging over Ajax's appearance in the PSL. The opening round of the 2018-2019 PSL season has indeed been confirmed, and it sees the new campaign kicking off on the 4th of August. The season opens with an epic showdown as defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns go head-to-head with Kaizer Chiefs. That at Loftus Versfeld at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Elsewhere, last year's runners-up Orlando Pirates will be hosting Heinens Park. Bidvest Wits are up against Free State Stars, while Cape Town City FC tackles Supersport United. Then on to controversy in swimming, hopefully coming to an end. Now, the United States Doping Agency handed 12-time Olympic champion Ryan Lochte with a 14-month ban for a doping violation. The 33-year-old American was sanctioned for using an intravenous infusion, procedure athletes are not allowed to use unless due to hospitalization or via an exemption. Running from the 24th of May when he received the infusion, Lochte's ban will end in July next year. They'll touch on those headlines again in a half hour or so. Let's bring you a traffic update.
Well, let's take another look at your roads, and the mist has rolled in Sea Point, so make sure you switch on those headlights. And in the Western Cape in Goodwood, there's been some congestion on the N1 inbound between Carl Cronje Drive and the M7 interchange. And in Gauteng and Boysens on the M1 northbound approaching the CBD, there are the usual delays heading towards the Crown interchange. That's where I leave your traffic for now. I'll have another update for you in half an hour.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Well, let's take another look at what to expect in your temperatures today. We start off in Polokwane, where your minimum for today is 4 and your maximum 22. Mbombela 6 with a high of 25. Pretoria 6 reaching a high of 21. If you're in Johannesburg today, 4 is your minimum, 20 your maximum. Sunny conditions in Mahikeng, a low of 4, a high of 21. Klerksdorp 2, 21. Kimberley 4, 21. Bloemfontein a cool start of -1 and a high of 19. Richards Bay 14, 26. Pietermaritzburg 7 reaching a high of 26. Sunny conditions in Durban today, a low of 14, a high of 25. Mthatha 7, 25. East London 15 reaching a warm 30 as a maximum. Cradock 5, 24. Port Elizabeth 12 with a high of 27. Partly cloudy in George today, a low of 13, a high of 24. If you're in Sutherland, 6 with a high of 20. Cape Town can expect a low of 12, a high of 19. Worcester 8, 24. Springbok 8, 27. And sunny conditions in Uppington with a low of 10 and a high of 24 degrees Celsius. That's where I leave your weather for this morning. I'll have another update for you at 7:30.
From weather girl to fitness bunny, there is our Zozo tackling what looked like actually a pretty intense kettlebell workout yesterday, but we put it to you guys, trying to look after ourselves as best we can. Do you guys at home use any apps or fitness devices or websites to help you stay on track with your health goals? I know a lot of us are on set to do that. I'm kind of more of a natural guy, but a lot of really awesome comments. You guys are so silly. Chris coming in saying, good morning, Expresso. I don't use any app, but I do some push-ups and sit-ups every day when I wake up. That's a good approach. Something like Rocky. Ramo Kone saying, good morning. I truly don't monitor my health over an app, but I get on a scale just so I can know my weight and possibly be able to see if it requires me to change my diet. Morning, guys. Morning. A lot of people wishing us well, so thank you so much. This one coming in from Donay Henry. Definitely my comment of the day. Good morning, everyone. I honestly just live. I do have junk in my trunk and a jiggle in my wiggle, but I'm okay, and we're okay with you being okay. But you can keep those opinions coming. Do you use a fitness app when tracking your own health goals?
Well, we are taking a very quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We love Braais as South Africans. So we have Dr. Darren Green in studio as we talk about the health risks around Braai culture, but naturally we'd love to hear from you. So if you've got a comment or a question, our lines are open. That number's 021-430-9881.
Absolutely, or maybe some insight as well, something interesting that you've learned around health and braaiing, I don't know. But also we're keeping things healthy. It's a Tuesday. Amy Hopkins in the house, she's sorting us out with regards to our diets, making sure that we stay healthy. A healthy potato salad heading your way after the break.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back on a very healthy Tuesday morning. Thank you for choosing to tune in for our health chats. Now, across South Africa, for the past week, we've been mostly enjoying some pretty pleasant, actually quite hot, warm winter weather, unnaturally. And combined with all of the sport going on over the weekend, despite the performances of our national sporting teams, there were definitely some fires lit and some chops thrown on the barbie. So braaiing is a part of our culture. It's a part of our DNA, I think. But most of the time, as we do this and get onto maybe our third or fourth brewery roll, we don't consider the long-term effects that this lifestyle has on us. Do I sound a little deflated? Yes, I am. Well, hopefully Dr. Darren Green doesn't scare us too much this morning. Come on, man. There's nothing wrong with the braai.
Yes,
Come on, man.
Well, it's It's like you mentioned, you know, often at a braai you'll dig into your third boerewors roll, or you overindulge with just meat.
You would never eat that much meat on a normal
No, unless you live in Bloemfontein.
Yeah.
You have it for breakfast.
Or in the prehistoric times. Yeah.
But Dr. Darren Green, what are the health implications for eating too much red meat?
Yeah, well, I think the big thing, we all know that red meat contains protein as well. It's rich in iron. So lots of positives about red meat. But on the bad side, different cuts of meat have different concentrations and layout of fat. And we know from having things like lamb chops, for example, the fat on the edge, you can choose which cut you want, really, when you purchase meat, and the amount of fat is the
fat
thing.
equals flavour.
And our nation, as a fat-eating nation, ranks amongst some of the top in the world because we eat so much red meat. The issue is which meat you're eating and the whole process of the meat. That's important.
I'm glad you mentioned the P word, process, because when it comes to sausages and boerewors, I know we also create award-winning boerie in this country, which is made from only the finest ingredients, but a lot of boerewors out there, we don't know what has gone into that, the additives, and they do use a lot of fat in that. How do we go about finding the right kind of meat for
So
our
most
braai?
people don't check what's in the boerewors. They look at what's the cheapest per kilogram when they go to the supermarket.
I'm guilty of that.
Or they look at a label that someone else mentioned once upon a time, or they ate at someone's house. You know, and it's all about taste, taste, taste. But as you start becoming aware that what you put into this, what I love to call the pie hole, causes inflammation. It causes inflammation.
Is that the medical term?
That's the medical term. You know, you've got to look at the type of meat that's in there. Is it ostrich? Is it lamb? Is it beef? You know, what's added to it? The preservatives that we add to keep meat longer at certain temperatures as well is also a thing. And the salt content. So a lot of people, hypertension, blood pressure issues, salt content of our meat. And then what we do is we still then add salt on the braai while we're seasoning it, we know. And a lot of the seasoning also contains salt and even more preservatives. So you need to know what's in the product you're using. So look at what percentage of the boerewors, for example, is meat, how much is water, and what the additives are. Some of them even contain MSG, which a lot of people know about as well, the colorants, etc., etc. So look at the label. It's a good start.
And it's a massive calorie load just on that.
It is, because there's a lot of fat in certain products, and often wors is made from a lot of just the mold fine leftovers after they've done some of the main cuts.
Okay.
And but I won't disturb your appetite.
We won't destroy our lives just then. But I know there are also some healthy benefits for cooking off, eating off a braai. So it's not all doom and gloom, but we'd love to hear from you if you've got any questions relating not only just to the braai, but also those high-fat, high-red meat diets, high-salt diets and cholesterol. 021-430-9881. The doctor's in the house.
All right, jumping to the kitchen, like I said a little bit earlier on this morning, Amy Hopkins joining us, looking beautiful this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Nice to have you. How are you?
Yes, very, very well, thank you. Feeling good, feeling strong, been loving the warmer
like
weather.
That. It has been nice, eh? But there's a mist back rolling into Sea Point this morning.
I know.
But it's okay. That mist will most definitely not stop South Africans from braaiing.
No,
okay?
absolutely not.
That's the topic for today. We're talking about the health risks associated with the braaiing, particularly with regards to the type of foods that you eat as well with your braai. And we love braaiing. We love like a choppy up feed.
Absolutely, it's part of our everyday culture. I love the gees around it. It's wonderful.
It's fun, man. That's what we do. But normally we pair whatever meat we braai with either garlic bread, pasta salad, or a potato salad.
Very heavy, starchy food.
Heavy, starchy food. So you're here with a healthier option with regards to potato salad.
So what I'm making today is a delicious potato salad, but it's without all that extra mayonnaise and all those like extra fatty bits.
Look,
so
it looks fresh.
It's
it looks
really
beautiful.
fresh. Basically, I mean, there's nothing wrong with eating carbs, especially if you're doing some exercise and that, which you and I are both big fans of. So what I'm doing here is just taking the traditional dish and making it fresh and light and springy and summery with beautiful herbs. I mean, spring is just around the corner now. I keep telling myself.
Can you believe that, eh? That's crazy.
It's getting close.
Wow.
So what I've got here is some beautiful mix of mint, some flat leaf parsley, some basil and some coriander, beautiful fresh flavors. And it's quite a mix of like banging flavors. So I love adding that with some extra virgin olive oil and a little bit of chili just for a touch of a bite if you like it. I love it. And some fresh lemon juice and obviously a bit of lemon zest as well. So what I'm going to do is just first zest my lemon.
Go for it. Go for it.
Into the potatoes.
I must say, this looks like it's straight out of a page of a cooking book.
Well, you know, I'm working on it.
Really?
Yes. But thank you. And the thing is, it's actually so simple to make. Again, like as you would with potatoes, you just give the potatoes a little bit of a boil or a steam even. I like using baby potatoes because they're just so much easier to work with.
That's it. And they look nice.
And they look beautiful. And you can just halve or quarter them, obviously, depending on your size. And now we're just going to squeeze that fresh lemon juice all over those beautiful potatoes. Right. You don't have to wait for them to be completely cool when you can do this. You can just kind of start getting at it.
It's potatoes, you know, it's potatoes. You can handle them. But listen, if you want to get your hands on this recipe, it's nice and fresh. Try this one for the next braai that you are going to be having at home. The keyword is salad. SMS that to 33728. That's salad to 33728. It'll be on our website as well, expressoshow.com.
So I'm very, very loosely chopping these herbs.
Look at this.
You can keep them quite chunky, but I love it. I love having...
I will do this one. Okay, just to...
I mean, you've got to use your teeth to chew a little bit, you know.
That's what they're there for.
Yes. So I'm doing a very rough chop, but obviously depending on how you like your herbs, you can chop them a bit more finely.
Yeah.
And in any case, if you mix them in when the potatoes are hot, they will wilt slightly.
Yes.
So they will actually start softening.
Should I start
you
getting
can start mixing that for me,
a bit
please.
of a mix for us.
And we're going to add our little pinch of chili flakes. Love.
Yes, please.
Some of that extra virgin olive oil. Very good healthy fats. And a little sprinkling of salt and pepper. Because potatoes, I mean, I just find they absorb salt and pepper. They just love it.
What you can also do, I love in terms of the salt, is that the big flakes. Those flakes beautifully over there as well.
There you go. So that looks gorgeous. Now that looks more salady than potato salad because my herbs
You've got
are so
a lot
big.
of greens in there. But like you said, they will wilt a little bit.
Exactly. So for example, here you can see if your potatoes have been warm, your leaves will start to wilt a little bit like this. Look at that beautiful crystallized salt over there on top and the little chili flakes. It's really lovely. And you can serve that on the side to any braai dish. It goes with all kinds of meats and things. It's fabulous. So there
you have it, a healthy option to your potato salad. Try this one out at your next braai. The keyword, like I've mentioned, is salad. SMSs do cost R1.50. T's and C's do apply, and you can find them on our website, expressoshow.com. But it is salad to 33728, and on our website, the entire recipe will be uploaded for you there. That looks delicious.
Thank you. A little extra sprinkle of salt and pepper.
I can't wait to look at you what you're going to be bringing for us a little bit later on.
Yes, exactly. Even more healthy braai side dishes.
We love it. Hey, it's a Tuesday and we're gearing up for the weekend and braaiing, or maybe you are going to be braaiing today already.
I'm thinking about it already.
We are South African after all. Salad to 33728.
All right, so with our healthy accompaniments now sorted, we get back to our master braaiing, and Bobby showed up just in time for the braai. Something I think that I often think about, because I'm a traditionalist when it comes to our fires. Hello, Bobby, you beautiful boy. Wood versus charcoal or briquettes. Are there chemicals in those briquettes that can make their way into the food?
Yeah, so wood becomes charcoal. It's often just aged or compressed. But what you need to understand is that the carcinogenic part, you know, the cancer-causing stuff that we all fear, quite clearly means that the difference between using wood and charcoal is almost negligible in terms of what you choose to braai with. The braai masters that take pride in their braais will tell you there's a different heat time, will last longer if you use rooikrans versus blue wattle, etc., versus briquettes, and depending on what they're making, they'll actually choose which coals to use. Now, Jan Braai and those guys know a lot about that. But importantly, it's not actually the charcoal and the wood that has been linked to carcinogenic, in other words, cancer-causing. Funny enough, it's actually keeping the temperature of protein at really high temperatures for a long time that has a carcinogenic effect. That's the one thing.
Don't overcook your meat, yo.
And the second thing is when the fat drips onto the fire and the grill and makes that smoke then forms a compound that goes back up at the meat, and if you leave the meat on long enough, it residues on the meat. So the burnt fat actually has a compound. So the two things to remember for those Google fanatics out there is HCA, which is a heterocyclic amine or protein derivative, and PCA. So that's what they can look up if they want to Google it and get into it. HCA and PCA in terms of braaiing meat and cancer-causing compounds. So that's
that is really interesting, man.
Very, very interesting. Now, Dr. Darren Green, can we go back to portion control?
Yes.
Because I often find myself, when you just nibble, you tend to overindulge. I have this habit, at the minute all the meat is in front of you, I completely lose my appetite. But that's not the case for everyone.
I feel so sorry for you, man.
What's the right amount?
Diametrically opposed to that.
Yeah. How much should you be eating? Well, a dietitian showed me something once that was quite useful, and they use your own hand. So if you're eating fish, you can have a full hand. Okay. The size of your portion, if you look at your own hand, is quite useful.
This is light.
Yeah. And then obviously if you're eating chicken, like fillet without the skin, obviously you can go to the crease, which is 3/4 of a hand. And when you're moving on to red meat, obviously, you're getting smaller.
All that brine just for that.
So many people ask me, but what if I have a dick hunt, doctor? So just the size of the portion, it's a good idea to look at your plate, how big the piece of
But you go through all the hours of braai. At least I feel like when I get invited to a braai on a Saturday evening, you only eat Sunday morning. So all that hours of waiting just for a small piece of meat.
Correct. I mean, everyone loves braai broodjies, and they love keeping meat till the next day and making sandwiches with it. But the pre-snacks while you're braaiing is what it's all about.
And the
refreshments. So we need to check what we're actually ingesting beforehand. It's the cream dips and the lovely tortillas and nachos that we're enjoying as a nation here. We love that, and obviously I'm not even mentioning the carbs in terms of beer yet, that get thrown on the meat, on the fire, and that get consumed.
I'm trying to treat you with the utmost respect as a doctor here, but I just want to say boo to everything that you say. I just found myself...
We're just becoming mindful of the amount. Just mindful to know exactly. So there are certain hacks that you can introduce where you can enjoy your meat and have it prepared properly. But obviously, the time and how long you cook it and the fat dripping on the fire, if you trim some of the fat off at least, it does help. And then also, it's not something that you do every night, although there's some people that do braai every night.
How often is too often for a
braai? That depends on how much you're eating. Yeah, definitely. And you'd have to look at your entire lifestyle. I mean, they say it's 80% diet, 20% exercise to look after this meat box, this machine of yours, and to hone it and get it into shape. But, I mean, you need to look at your levels of activity. That will determine how many calories you should actually be eating and what desire you have in terms of your work.
Okay.
I'm going to run every day so I can braai once a year. That's basically, I'm trying to do the ratios in my head, man. So Dr. Boo for you, man. Honestly, guys, there is a way that we can approach our braais. I'm going to ask you a little bit about the healthiest way to approach braaiing, but I think it just involves a bit of common sense. But we'd love to hear from you guys. 021-430-9881. Maybe you've got some good braai hacks to make the process a little bit healthier as well.
Very interesting topic indeed. Like Graham said, we are going to be continuing with that discussion after the break. Give us a call, 021-430-9881, if you have any questions, comments, or maybe you can share a piece of advice as well. And then we're sticking to the braai. It's a theme on your Tuesday, healthy braai kebabs, but a veggie style one. Stick around for that recipe with Amy Hopkins after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC3. We've been having a lot of fun with all these delicious braai talks and braai recipes. Amy, a little bit earlier on this morning, made this delicious alternative to an potato salad without any kind of mayonnaise or creams in there.
Exactly,
as well,
it's a nice and fresh, summery type of potato salad.
And it's delicious, by the way, which is kind of picking at it away. And of course, Dr. Darren Green joining us this morning talking about health and braaiing. What should we know? But talking about the health aspects in terms of your food, food, delicious recipes like I mentioned with Amy. Right now, some veggie kebabs.
That's right. So
look at that, colourful, beautiful.
They're beautiful. So you know when we talk about eating the rainbow, it's about getting all those different nutrients in.
That's right.
And as you can see over here, we've got a beautiful example of a rainbow.
Got a rainbow. Okay.
We've got lots of antioxidants, lots of immune boosting foods here. We've got lovely tomatoes, some red onion, some brown mushrooms, some courgettes or baby marrows or zucchini, whatever you want to call them, and some yellow peppers and red peppers. And what we're going to do is just, you can see you've got some skewers over there.
I do.
We're going to skewer them, and you can really do this in any kind of order. You know, just I like mixing the colors up.
Yeah.
And you can also add some other ingredients. For example, if you wanted to, I don't know, have something like some patty pans or, you know, so whatever veggies you have lying around that you want to kind of add on, this is a great way to get them cooking. And you can serve this as a side dish to your braai or have them as one of your mains at the braai, because often we just immediately think of going towards meat as our example of what we want to braai.
That's it.
But what we've created here is our faux braai in the kitchen, as you can see over here.
Look, it's smoking, which is good.
It's smoking, and I'm just going to lightly put that down while I quickly mix this marinade together, which is a little bit of fresh oregano, some garlic, some lemon juice, love lemon juice, and a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm going to just brush this lightly onto the kebabs as they kind of sizzle over that heat.
All right, I've got mine done.
Wonderful, thank you.
Look at that.
You can start working on another one if you like.
Hey, man,
and
this is fun.
work.
I love making my own kebabs at home, eh?
Exactly.
I really, really do.
And you know what's great about this is you can get your whole family involved, get everyone to come help you make the kebabs in the kitchen. So this is my oregano, olive oil, garlic, and lemon juice. And I'm just going to quickly put some of that on. Oh, now we're going to sizzle in the kitchen.
Yes, we're going to smoke out this place.
And it's just that I find some salt and some fresh herbs, they really make all the difference to your veggies. So if you just want to add a little bit of that flavor, there we go. Whoo, it's getting smoky.
Smoky, not steamy.
No.
Okay.
So let's do one more. And then you just kind of want to cook these until your veggies start getting that very slight bit of golden color. As you can see on our lovely peppers over there and the mushrooms, they just cook through. Essentially,
you just want to make sure that they heat through nicely.
A lot of these veggies you can eat raw, so there's no real concern about having to cook them to death. You actually want them to retain some of that crunch and that crispiness, and that's, for me, really just makes them more delicious. I don't like sloppy veggies. So.
No, we don't like sloppy veggies. The keyword is braai. SMS that to 33728. That's our keyword for our veggie kebabs. That's braai to 33728. And we'll send you the ingredients and a link to the recipe as well. But very, very easy and colourful as well, which is exactly the type of thing that you want to see on your plate. And healthy as well. By colour, I mean health.
Yes.
Let me pop one more. There we go. It'll also be on our website, expressoshow.com. Thank you. That keyword, once again, braai to 33728. And there you have it. Just put some thought into your braai and the type of foods that you eat. Like Darren also mentioned, just make sure that you watch what you eat before the actual main meal.
Yes.
You know, all of those little starchy and
you mean don't have a whole lot of crisps in your build-up.
Yeah, he mentioned the little nacho chips and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So make sure that you keep it healthy and you can still enjoy your braai.
Exactly. In fact, you can give these as a starter. You can walk around and hand these out as a little starter while people are waiting then for their meats and other salads. So.
And by the time your actual main meal comes, you won't feel completely overfull.
No, totally.
Amy, thank you very much for joining us this morning, sharing some great ideas for our veggie societies, also our potato salad here this morning, but for our societies, the keyword is braai. It's Mzatu 33728. Cheers. Put it there. Bam.
All right, so we are talking braais. Boo to Dr. Darren Green. Now, I'm sorry, man. I know I'm painting you with a negative brush, but we're talking about some very real, very relevant concerns about braaiing. And I want to ask now, does the white rabbit, is it white rabbit, or something, that trick when the smoke gets in your eyes, does that actually work?
You know what, that's one of the things. I go to a braai and I have to wash everything, the clothing I was wearing, my hair, everything, because of all the smoke. But how bad is the smoke for inhalation?
It's not as bad as not as bad as going to a club.
Okay.
Boom. So
Boom.
So braai over a club.
So tertiary smoke, obviously in terms of nicotine, for example, and the tar, leaves a residue on your curtains, on your countertops, on your couches. That can be ingested on your hands, and then when you prepare food, it's put into the food you ingested. People don't know about that, but they should. Obviously, with this, as I mentioned earlier on, the carcinogenic parts of looking at the process of grilling, inhalation, smoke, some people are really sensitive to certain types of wood. So they have allergies, their asthma is triggered, they get bronchospasm, wheezy, tight chests. And some people have, obviously, very sensitive nasal airways and eyes, they have tearing and so forth. But I mean, once again, it's also regarding your predisposition to it. Some people have hyperreactive airways. They're sensitive to cold air, exercise-induced asthma. They have allergies in terms of environmental factors like pollen, etc. as well. So those people are generally people that don't do very well with sitting too close to an open fire. And also people that are, in closed spaces where there's lots of dust involved and so forth as well.
But so there's no general, because a lot of this you've been speaking about very generalized kind of connections to cancer. But can you say that braais aren't necessarily a danger zone for an increased
100%, especially but in a ventilated area, it goes without saying. Remember, what causes cancer of the lung? Let's just put it there quickly. It's stress on the specialized cells of the respiratory system and the lung itself. Stress on those cells makes them want to change to adapt to the stress. That changing process to adapt to the stress that's placed upon them by inhaling noxious fumes over a long period of time and excessively will lead to, possibly where there's genetic involvement, certain abnormal cell types being formed, as is with all cases of cancer.
And then the body replicates those
cells. And then it replicates quickly. So generally, try not to put any part of your body under excessive stress, because then it forces that change in the infrastructure of the cells.
Genetic predisposition then kicks in.
Yeah, that's where the triggers kick in.
Okay, well, we're going to have more with Dr. Darren Green. And Dr. Darren Green, when we get back, I'd love to know about smoke in the eyes and how to alleviate that. But if you've got a comment or a question, we would love to hear from you. Our lines are open. It's 021-430-9881.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's run you through those news headlines once again on your Tuesday morning. In your national news, Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba says his department is doing all it can to end the long waiting queues at their various branches across the country. He said at least 9 additional offices would be modernized, bringing the total number of officers with live capture to 193. Then there are 57.7 million people in South Africa, and more than half of the population is female. Young people between the ages of 15 to 34 years old make up 35.7% of the total population. Making your international news this morning, the Zanawe National Park in Mozambique is to receive 200 elephants from South Africa. The animals are being donated by the mining company De Beers and will be moved from a nature reserve the company owns in Limpopo province. And lastly, China's President Xi Jinping and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi are due to attend the BRICS summit in Johannesburg today. The topic of a possible international trade war is not expected to dominate discussions at this year's summit. We'll expand on those headlines once again at the top of the hour.
Let's bring you a quick sporting synopsis, starting with yesterday's cricket. The Proteas suffered a 2-0 series defeat to Sri Lanka as they lost that second test by 199 runs in Colombo yesterday. So up next, hopefully a bit of a rebirth in the 5-match ODI series getting underway this Sunday. Then on to football, with a big question mark still hanging over Ajax's participation. The opening round of the 2018-2019 PSL season has been confirmed, and it sees the big guns Mamelodi Sundowns up against Kaizer Chiefs. Pirates, last year's runners-up, hosting Highlands Park, while Cape Town City tackles SuperSport United. And finally, on the international swimming front, the United States Doping Agency has handed 12-time Olympic champion Ryan Lochte with a 14-month ban for using an intravenous infusion. More on that and all of our stories on the top of the hour.
Well, let's take another look at what to expect in your traffic, starting in Gauteng and Fairlands. Now, there's some delays on the N1 northbound between 14th Avenue and Rivonia Road. An average speed of 40 kilometers an hour is being reported, with delays of up to 15 minutes. Then in the Western Cape in Heiderveld, that's on Jakes Gerwel Drive northbound, traffic is congested between Klipfontein Road and Viking Way with an average speed of only 10 kilometers an hour. I'll have a final update for you with regards to the traffic at 8 o'clock.
Quality fuel, convenience, and service with a smile. Whether it's to fuel up or stock up, Caltex, it's how you get there.
Well, let's take another look at what to expect in your temperatures today. And it seems like most parts of the country can expect a cool start. Bloemfontein starting on -1. But looking at those temperatures, Polokwane, a low of 4 and a high of 22 for today. Mbombela, 625. Pretoria, 621. Johannesburg, 4 with a high of 20. Sunny conditions in Mahikeng, a low of 4, a high of 21. Klerksdorp 2 reaching a high of 21. If you're in Kimberley, 4 is your minimum, 21 your maximum. Bloemfontein starting off on -1 and a high of 19. Richards Bay 14.26, Pietermaritzburg 7.26, Durban 14 reaching a high of 25. Partly cloudy conditions in Mthatha, a low of 7, a high of 25. East London 15 with a high of 30. Cradock 5.24, Port Elizabeth 12.27, George 13 reaching a high of 24. Partly cloudy conditions in Sutherland, a low of 6, a high of 20. Cape Town 12 reaching a high of 19. If you're in Worcester today, a low of 8 can be expected with a high of 24. Springbok 8.27 and Uppington a low of 10 with a high of 24 degrees Celsius. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll bring you a final update at 8 o'clock.
So I'm going to give Dr. Darren Green an opportunity to redeem himself here. And I promise you, we are not trying to shoot down the braai, okay? We are just offering a very honest and very real account of some of the health risks attached to eating too much red meat, too much fat, too much salt. Smoke gets in my eye, too much smoke. But one word that we haven't mentioned just yet is gout.
Yes.
And the relationship between alcohol, that's the natural connection I make, red meat and cholesterol, how do all of those elements tie together?
When you've had that really hot, swollen, red, painful toe once, you know what gout's about.
Yeah, and
everyone equates,
we don't mean to make light of it because
everyone
it is
equates
really
gout to alcohol always, and it isn't. There are other causes. It's an increased uric acid level that deposits then crystals at the level of the joint. The crystals irritate the soft tissue, the tendons, give you that red, hot, swollen inflammation, etc.
Just imagine that, what's going on. You're putting a crystallized thing in a mobile area.
And then it causes the irritation, when those crystals are deposited there. But, it's processed meat. So boerewors is actually worse for your gout than is a lean piece of fillet, for example, because it's processed meat. And that's what people need to understand. Also, you must understand the rest of your diet and your genetics. You're geared with enzymes that control the metabolism when you break down food, etc. And what happens is in some people, they have a predisposition to high uric acid levels. And why that's important is because of the full metabolic syndrome, where you have obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease, all linked in association. As soon as you have one of those, it increases your risk almost 2 to 3-fold of developing the next one.
All of this is within the meat box, as you call it.
Yes.
The meat box.
So watch your uric acid levels. Understand that a lot of processed meats are not good for you in terms of increasing the uric acid levels.
Is there a connection to kidney stones and gout? Are they
very much so.
So
you get stones that are called urate stones. So calcium, urate, and oxalate are the 3 main groups. But urate specifically is formed from people that have high uric acid levels.
Wow.
Very interesting. And I'm not sure, have you guys touched on, when you get smoke in your eyes?
Oh,
what's the best way to alleviate it?
Move away from the fire. But it sometimes follows you, as the guys were saying.
It's the curse.
You get some decent lubricant drops before your braai. Maybe use some of those. And,
goggles.
And obviously, as I mentioned earlier on, the ventilation is quite important where you braai. So
I'm still not convinced that the smoke doesn't naturally follow you. Maybe there's a magnetic pull. Can we bring a physicist on the show just to discuss that? So let's just put some healthy spins on here and maybe look at some healthy tips for the next time we braai, which is probably going to be next year now that we've terrified everyone.
No, man, come on.
No, I'm joking.
This weekend.
Yeah, no.
So looking at, try to balance the meat you're eating. Have obviously meat that contains less fat, because we have a cholesterol problem that's massive in South Africa. Also, alcohol. We are in the top 30 countries that abuse alcohol in the world. So that's important. We associate the braai culture often with other things, like the drinking, and then we lose count of the beers and the socializing. We love the socializing aspect, which is great. But we need to just make sure that we hang around long enough to keep on socializing, which means looking at the cholesterol, the amount that you're consuming, and decreasing your risk of cancers. Have your pre-snacks a little bit healthier before braaiing. Look at the amount of booze you make available if you are drinking alcohol. And certainly the type of white meat, fish, chicken, without the skin, obviously. Look at seasoning that in a way. Marinating meat, by the way, reduces your chances of cancer, even if it's just 30 minutes. Marinating and using natural ingredients like red pepper, rosemary, and other types of herbs on your meat certainly also help in terms of those compounds that I mentioned that get deposited on it. So don't overcook your meat. Marinate your meat to 30 minutes before the time if you can. And then obviously, as I mentioned, the fat that drips in the fire, if that forms smoke, the compound then forms a residue on the meat. And that's the thing that we need to watch out for.
Diversify. Absolutely love that.
Well, thank you, Dr. Darren Green, for joining us this morning and telling us a little bit more when it comes to the braai culture that we love so much as South Africans. So hopefully you'll have the next braai a little bit healthier.
So here's an interesting thing. Growing up, I was always told if you sit around a fire and the smoke gravitates to you, that means normally that you are the most beautiful one. I don't know if that is true in any way. I think that maybe growing up, I was questioning this fact, saying that it's just to make the person feel better, that the smoke gravitates towards. But I choose to believe the latter. But connect with me on social media. Maybe this is something that you grew up on. If the smoke gravitates to you specifically, doesn't matter where you move. What does that mean? Interesting indeed. We're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we're talking about a brand new movie. JP Sebastian is here. It's called Adrift. And then we also have a Kindle to give away. Thank you, Princess. Charming. My copy is on its way. It's great. We have a Kindle to give away. We'll give you all those details when we come back.
100 years of Mandela's legacy. It's a moment for us as South Africans to celebrate him and his family and the sacrifices that he's made for our country. The quality I live by the most would be my compassion and understanding of people, and also having the ability not just to explain and give people things, but also to take a step back and listen and understand.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're just in time to get into our international entertainment news. Just one story this morning.
Just one quick, interesting story. And you know how we always take our health super serious here on Expresso. Now, Kanye West, he got an assist from his wife Sunday after he wasn't feeling too well. So much so that he beelined straight towards the ER. Now, Kim was right by Kanye's side as they showed up at the West Hills Hospital in the San Fernando Valley. Now, we're told that Kanye had the flu and it got worse and worse, so much so that he needed to head on over to the hospital and to feel so much more better. And they were only there for a short time, and then they returned home where Kanye could rest. But Kanye recently he's been tweeting a lot about his sinus issues, but we're also told it's unclear if the two issues are related, and he has been traveling a lot lately, so it's so important to just take a moment and breathe.
And this is the crazy thing, at the age that he's at now, you know, us gents, we get to that point where you start to worry about these things. If it is going to progress, is it a deeper health issue? But as a performer, I think that's where the real worry is. That's his money maker. He needs to be able to perform. they work these grueling schedules. I know we love to think that they've lived this high life and it's all about keeping up with the Kardashians, but he's a hard worker and he's got this empire around him that he has to sustain. So we get at it. I don't think he was being kind of a worrywart there and in overreacting. Yeah, we're glad to know that he is really well, but I think we can all take a lesson out of that.
Yeah.
Don't ever take chances when it
No,
comes to
not
health.
when it comes to your health. Definitely look after yourself and put yourself first every once in a while.
Right, thank you very much, guys, for our snippet of entertainment news this morning. Right now, let's head to the movie. JB Sebastian joining us in the studio, but before we chat to him, let's take a quick look at the movie we are talking about. It's Adrift. Here we go. Dude,
you're engrossed.
That is hectic.
Come back to us, Ewan.
That is hectic.
You're in safe
Adrift. So okay, dude. Wow. Let's unpack this for a second. Based on a true story?
Absolutely. In 1983, it was the lady who Shailene Woodley plays, whose name I've forgotten now. She was traveling with her husband, so the two of them, across the ocean to take someone else's yacht.
Yeah.
It seemed like the dream cruise. They had just gotten married. They're both sailors from Tahiti all the way to San Diego.
Yeah.
On the way there, they hear reports that there's going to be one of the largest storms, a record storm, category 4, that's 230 kilometer per hour winds, and waves that are, well, if you stand at the foot of a building and look 4 stories up.
It's high.
It's high.
It's high. Look, a 2-meter wave is already big.
And so they, I mean, I get seasick in a bath. Like, they thought that basically they could circumnavigate this thing, get around it, but it actually turned back and chased them in real life. Yeah, that's all she wrote.
And this is the thing, though, because, I mean, it happens. People deliver yachts every day. You've got people like the likes of Rian Mansa, adventurers. They cross the oceans on rowboats and whatnot. This is a reality. And I think this is what makes it so real.
And it's such idyllic, sort of
beautiful, calm waters,
sunsets,
dolphins.
And a young couple who had just recently gotten married, and then they're struck by travesty on what should have been, like I said, some sort of idyllic thing. They were both these free spirits, and they thought this is the way they're going to let their hair down. So yeah, it's this movie that sort of veers between obviously it being a survival movie and being a romance. It goes real hard on the schmaltz, which I don't mind too much because obviously it's yes, indeed. Graham seems particularly interested. So yeah, it does this sort of balancing act between jumping between flashbacks to
no, dude, it's hectic.
Someone get him some towels or something.
I love the ocean, but there's just something about knowing that it's a true story.
It's just like a primitive fear I think we all have for the ocean.
Yeah, because you've got nothing. You've got nothing around you but your boat and your partner. Listen, popcorns.
And in fact, just an interesting side, note, it was 12 hours per day they spent shooting just straight out on the ocean, so it's not all special effects.
Oh, really? Wow.
But as far as popcorns go, I wasn't too, sweet on the schmaltz necessarily, and I wanted to see more of it as a survival engineering your way out of the meat and potatoes of getting out of this kind of disaster. But it does just fine to balance both acts, so 6 out of 10 ain't too bad for a survival movie.
Okay, 6 out of 10, not bad. All right.
I would go watch it.
We got some potatoes for you in the kitchen, though, if you need to work through it.
Does that quash seasickness at all?
Maybe, or to just, possibly.
Eat myself into a coma so I never have to face something like that.
Yeah. 6 out of 10. Adrift, check it out. It opens this weekend. I think it's definitely the type of movie that I'll watch. Let us know what you think about this movie. But will you go watch it? Will you actually find yourself on a boat and put yourself in that situation?
You're coping over there. Feeling like
sweaty palms, dude. Sweaty palms. Thanks, JP.
Thanks, dude.
We should actually just have a bucket of popcorn and start JP with it like
6
that.
popcorns ain't bad by JP standards.
Not too bad. But listen, Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin, they star in this romantic-based drama that JP just gave 6 out of 10 to, but based on a biographical novel set in 1983, and it's about a couple who are left stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean after a hurricane, and they must find their way to Hawaii with a damaged ship and no radio. And this heartbreaking true story about the fight for survival against harsh currents of nature is sure to be a tearjerker.
Oh, the music's the waves, it's waves of emotion. We're giving 5 of you now, very lucky viewers, the chance to win 1 of 5. Get this, amazing prizes, Kindles, valued at 2,000 Rand a piece, so you can watch the movie and use your new Kindle to read the book right after that. So if you're feeling lucky, visit the Expresso Facebook page, find our competition post and share a photo of you and the person you'd want to be stuck on a ship with and why. That competition closes on this coming Friday, the 27th of July at 5 o'clock sharp, but all of the terms and conditions can be found on expressoshow.com.
Definitely a movie I'm going to be seeing this weekend. But right now we are taking a very quick break. Don't go anywhere. Go recharge your coffee cup, your tea cup, your hot chocolate, whatever you are enjoying this morning. We're back with a stylish gentleman here this morning. Drummers Unite SA, they're back with an epic performance. Dude, I got to learn some of this stuff, man. I got to learn some of this stuff. That was all me. That was all me. And also bringing some awesome out-of-the-box travel ideas for South Africa, exploring our very own backyard. Stick around for that and more excitement after the break.
Mandela Day means to me that the entire international world looks down at South Africa and celebrates with us what Mandela did for us. He brought about democracy, he brought about a rainbow nation, which we now are revisiting and re-looking again, a necessity which Mandela would have endorsed. The quality of Mandela that I lived through the most, his integrity, his passion for serving people, his respect for differences and inclusivity of people, his absolute honouring of justice, of transparency, of making sure that everyone in our country is seen as an equal.
My sweet love, my sweet love. My sweet love, love. My sweet love, my sweet love. My sweet love, my sweet
That's cool.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Oh, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And just in time as we take a moment to just pause the morning and say a happy birthday to you if today is indeed your birthday.
24th of July, I can't believe it this year. It's flying. Christmas is just around the corner, so it's just there.
Tomorrow, 5 months.
It's just crazy. Today, actress and singer Jennifer Lopez turns 48. Yes, she has conquered the world of music and film with songs such as Jenny from the Block and On the Floor, as well as appearing in films such as the Ice Age film series. She plays the voice of Shira.
She hasn't aged. That's the thing
It's
that
ridiculous.
boggles my mind. I know
Not
people
fair.
in their 20s that look older than Jennifer Lopez. But today also marks what would have been the 121st birthday of Amelia Earhart. Now, she was the first female pilot to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean, but it disappeared over the Pacific in 1937, and that is still a mystery that persists to this day.
And
So
her
it would
story
have been
is incredible.
121.
121. And then some of our viewers that we want to wish happy birthday to. We have Veggie, 24 July today. Veggie, happy birthday to you. Thank you very much for connecting with us. Happy birthday. Hope you have a lovely one. There we have also Mokotso Makaretsa, who's also sharing her birthday today, looking absolutely beautiful this morning, Mokotso. So turning 21, happy 21. And then we have Tamia Kala as well. What's up, Tamia? Happy birthday. Look at that $1 million smile going on right there.
There you go.
Thank you very much, yeah.
And if it's your birthday, please let us know. You can head on over to our social media pages. Perhaps you'd love to wish a loved one, include a photo. Tell us how old they're turning so that we can wish them a happy birthday right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
And it's about to get that much more feel-good loving, hosting these amazing gents behind an amazing production. Drummers Unite SA, and of course they're going to be celebrating 5 incredible years this coming weekend at Steenberg High School with a production that kicks off at 6:30. Tickets ranging from just 100 to 180 Rand. So you can get them in all their glory then, but you're going to get just a little bit of a taste right now with My Sweet Loves. Gents, the stage is yours. pick up a microphone and drop it somewhere. Just do that, man. Oh, buddy, that was insane. I'm convinced there was another arm just popping out and playing there. That maybe have you got someone hidden behind you? Guys, can I get another round of applause? Oh, you've got to see these boys live. Do you say Steenberg or is it Steenberg?
Steenberg.
Steenberg.
Yeah.
We say Steenberg. This Friday, go and check them out. $100 to 180 Rand will get you in, but see these gents perform live. I have a feeling that seeing it live is what it's all about. Thank you so much, boys. That was insane. Let's get back into official duties with the news headlines.
Thank you so much, Graham. That was phenomenal. 8 o'clock right now. Let's take a last look at your news headlines on your Feel Good Breakfast show. In your national news, Home Affairs Minister Malusi Gigaba says his department is doing all it can to end the long wait and queues at their various branches across the country. Gigaba was speaking to the media about progress made with his War on Queues campaign launched in April to reduce the length of time spent waiting in queues at Home Affairs offices. He said at least 9 additional offices would be modernized, bringing the total number of officers with live capture to 193. He also confirmed that his Director General Mkuseli Apleni has resigned. Then there are 57.7 million people in South Africa and more than half of the population is female. And that's according to Statistics South Africa's mid-year population estimate report released yesterday. The report also shows that young people between the ages of 15 to 34 years old make up 20.6 million people, 35.7% of the total population. Those aged 65 and over comprise 5.6% of the total population at 3.2 million individuals. The estimated number of people living with HIV is 7.52 million compared to 4.2 million in 2002. Then in your international news this morning, the Zanawe International National Park in Mozambique is to receive 200 elephants from South Africa. Since 2010, Mozambique's elephant population has halved due to rampant poaching. The mining company De Beers says it has started an operation to move the 200 elephants it has donated from a nature reserve it owns in Limpopo to neighboring Mozambique. The animals will be tranquilized before being driven in lorries across the border to Zanawe National Park. De Beers is to donate $500,000 over 5 years to the Peace Parks Foundation to combat poaching in Mozambique. And lastly, China's President Xi Jinping and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi are due to attend the BRICS summit in Johannesburg today. South Africa's International Relations Minister Lindiwe Sisulu says although BRICS leaders are concerned about the effects a potential full-blown international trade war could have on their countries, the topic will not dominate discussions during this year's summit. Fears of a trade war have been mounting across the globe after US President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Chinese products to the value of $34 billion. And that's where we leave your news headlines on your Feel Good Breakfast show for your Tuesday morning.
Let's kick it off with cricket, and I think we saw it on the cards. The Proteas suffered a 2-0 series defeat to Sri Lanka yesterday as they lost the second test by 199 runs in Colombo. Starting the day, needing a massive 351 to win, South Africa thankfully did show some fight thanks to a maiden century from Tienis de Bruin and 63 runs from Temba Bavuma, but it wasn't enough as they were eventually bundled out for 290. So we refocus now. Up next, the two nations face off in a 5-match ODI series, hopefully with a slightly different complexion, and that gets underway this coming Sunday. Then on to football, with still a question mark hanging over Ajax's participation. The opening round of the 2018-2019 PSL season has been confirmed, and it sees the new campaign kicking off on the 4th of August. And the season opens up with some epic showdowns. We've got our defending champions, Mamelodi Sundowns, going head-to-head with fellow big guns Kaizer Chiefs at Loftus Versfeld. That kicks off at 3 o'clock. Elsewhere, last year's runners-up, Orlando Pirates host Highlands Park. Bidvest Wits are up against Free State Stars, while Cape Town City FC tackles SuperSport United. And then hopefully bringing the controversy around the swimmer to a close for now, at least, the United States Doping Agency handed 12-time Olympic champion Ryan Lochte with a 14-month ban for a doping violation. The 33-year-old American was sanctioned for using an intravenous infusion, a procedure athletes are not allowed to use unless due to hospitalization or via an exemption. So running from the 24th of May, when he received the infusion, Lochte's ban will end in July next year. And that's a wrap of your sport for this morning. Let's take one last look at the roads.
Well, let's take a quick and final look at the roads in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, there's protest action taking place on the N2 Marion Hill inbound. It's causing traffic to be at a standstill, and this is due to the protest action. There are tyres alight blocking the road, so please avoid this route if at possible at all. And that's where I leave your traffic for this morning.
Don't fear the flu. Boost your immune system with Effaflu-C Immune Booster by Pharmadynamics. Effective, affordable healthcare.
Well, let's take a final look at your weather for today, and it seems like most parts of the country can expect a chilly start. Bloemfontein with a minimum of -1. But let's dig into those temperatures. Polokwane, your minimum for today is 4, your maximum 22. Mbombela 6 with a high of 25. Pretoria 6, 21. Johannesburg 4 with a high of 20. Mahikeng 4 reaching a high of 21. Sunny today in Klerksdorp, a low of 2, a high of 21. Kimberley 4, 21. Bloemfontein -1 reaching a high of 19. Sunny conditions in Richards Bay, a low of 14, a high of 26. Pietermaritzburg 7, 26. Durban 14 reaching a high of 25. Partly cloudy in Mthatha, a low of 7, a high of 25. East London 15 with a high of 30. Cradock 5, 24. Port Elizabeth 12 with a high of 27. George 13, 24. Sutherland 6 with a high of 20. Cape Town today partly cloudy, a low of 12 with a high of 19. Worcester 8, 24. Springbok 8, 27. And Uppington sunny conditions with a low of 10 and a high of 24 degrees Celsius. And that's where we leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you very much, Zoe. Let's quickly head on over to social media and see what you guys think about our performance this morning. We have Drummers Unite SA with us in studio, and that last performance, man, it blew the minds of everyone that was here in studio this morning. What a performance. We loved it. Let's quickly take a look at what you guys are saying from the guys. We have first one here. Jocelyn Julie says, awesomeness. I'm so glad to see my brother Jason Ward. Just love his facial expressions, and the other guys as well. Thanks, my Expresso fam. Just made my day. Thank you very much. Krishni says, love, love, love. What a smooth way to start the day. Teresa Anthea says, OMG, what awesome tunes to start the day. I'm absolutely loving it. Mash Sabrina gives it 3 wows if I'm listening there. Easy music and just breathe and taking it in. Last one, let's quickly take a look. Sandila says, good music, what a good way to go off to school. Well, enjoy your day at school, Sandila. Thank you very much for your messages. Keep connecting with us, hashtag Expresso Show. Our guys from Drummers Unite SA, they will have one more performance for you before we close off the show this morning. Stick around.
Man, I'm still buzzing. Jason's feet, we need a camera just on his little salsa foot action going there. So we're going to continue with the festive vibes. It might be winter, but we've got some out-of-the-box thinking to apply to traveling in our own beautiful country. And we'll give you some of those tips. And then can I get the boys in here? Donald, Rudolph, get in here. They are champions of the highest pedigree. Winner Home is back for a brand new season. We've got our past champions here to talk about their success post-competition and how you guys can get in on a scintillating new season. Welcome, boys. Welcome, hey? Look, this is the winner's circle right there.
From beef lasagna to creamy macaroni and cheese, Clover the Whistling Chef's high-quality, ready-to-eat meals are made using trusted Clover cheese, milk and cream. It's SA's favorite home-cooked recipes, now prepared and conveniently packed with a variety to choose from. Added to that, Africa's first vac-seal technology ensures they're kept fresher for longer for the whole family to enjoy. The Whistling Chef. Heat, whistle, eat, sing. It's as simple as that. Made with love by Clover.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstart.co.za.
Welcome back. You tune into your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, here's a question. Do you often find yourself going to the same holiday destination over and over again and never trying anything new? Well, I'm here to tell you, sometimes a change of pace is needed to liven things up a little bit, and South Africa has so many hidden gems to offer. Now, luckily for all of us, the travel gurus at Travelstart have kindly offered to share some of the best, I think, out-of-the-box travel ideas in South Africa that are sure to get you booking your next holiday on travelstart.co.za. Joining us this morning, Rennie, who's the travel manager at Travelstart. Andrew, lucky to have you, my friend.
How are you?
Good, good. Thank you very much. Always gets me excited when we talk about travel. I love travel, especially when it comes to my own backyard. We've been talking off air now. I've got a young family, you know, so getting the kids in the car and hitting the road and just heading off to nice destinations, I mean, that is absolutely key for me. But let's talk about that. What do you think is some of the most notable out-of-the-box travel destinations in South Africa? Because I think that's what people are looking for, to spice things up a bit.
I'd definitely say one of my personal cherished places is Sabi. It's different, you know, it's not your Cape Town or your Durban, Bloemfontein trips. Yeah. So, I mean, getting out there, the nature is beautiful, it's scenic, crystal clear waterfalls. And I mean, it's God's window, you know, it's definitely a tourist destination that a lot of people go to. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I would say that's definitely a top pick. And then also just pushing out the Kruger National Park, you know. Not many South Africans visit the Kruger, you know, it's an international...
I've never been there.
You know what I mean? Not many. And it's actually quite affordable. So I definitely push the Kruger National Park too.
Especially if you're also into your camping, I'm sure, you know, great camping opportunities there.
No, definitely. And affordable too, that can book through Travelstart Live.
That's the thing. Okay, we're going to talk about how you can go about doing that in just a second. But I think also another trend that we're seeing is unconventional accommodation. It's something different than the usual. You know, I think that's what people are going for as well, once again, just to kind of liven things up a little bit. But I think the big question that's on everyone's mind is when it comes to unconventional accommodation, is it affordable, especially like someone for me who's got a young family?
I definitely think it's affordable. There's unconventional accommodation is a rising thing in South Africa, you know. And I mean, just alone in Cape Town, we've got lots of cool different ideas. Imagine being on a rooftop, camping in a caravan, and be able to eat movies and watch, eat some popcorn and watch some movies. You know, it's really cool and it's affordable, and that can also be booked through Travelstart Live.
Fantastic, man. It seems like you guys have got us all sorted. Now, when it comes to road tripping, I love getting the kids in the car, back in the car, heading out on the road, and for me, it's so important to make the journey part of the holiday as well. So when it comes to maybe, I don't know, quirky, wacky destinations that's worth taking a detour for, do you have any advice or places that of interest that we should go for?
Definitely. I'm from Johannesburg. So when you're going from Johannesburg to, let's just say, Sun City, and you're passing Hartbeespoort, there's lots of old farms that you can stop by, and you can get some rusks, you know. The farms we all love are biltong, you know. So there's lots of different things that you can do, that you can stop over. There's a place called Amazungzing where you can go and do some zip lining.
Yes, I've actually been there.
It's really fun, you know. It takes about an hour or two, and it's great.
But it's good fun. I mean, it just goes into the planning of your trip. Do a little bit of research beforehand, you know. Think, and of course, with the help of you guys as well, pointing us in the right direction is always a help. I think also a lot of people, like nowadays, you know, we live very hectic lives, fast-paced lives. We don't have 2-3 weeks to take off at a time, so really rely on those day trips, maybe those weekends away as well. What advice do you have for our travelers?
I would definitely, for a day trip or a weekend away, I mean, you could look at Sun City, you know. Sun City is an awesome weekend away. It's just also up the road. For Cape Town, it's also just a nice, easy flight, you know, to Sun City. And they've got gaming, they've got entertainment, they've got water slides, they've got literally everything, and a golf course, you know, 18-hole golf course, which is insane. And
caters for the entire family. Definitely. Andrew, just before I let you go, how can we go about booking on Travelstart if we want to take a look at some of these amazing offers?
You can book through, you can go online and go into www.travelstart.co.za, or you can give us a call on 021 020 0559. Contact one of our Travelstart live agents.
Awesome stuff, making travel absolutely easy. Andrew, thank you very, very much. I envy your job, my friend, because I'm sure that you get to experience so much more than I get to experience. But so like Andrew said, just another amazing way to enjoy hassle-free, budget-friendly getaways with travelstart.co.za. So make sure that you go online and book and just explore our own backyard.
Book flights from 499 Rand, only on travelstart.co.za.
So now we've officially got it underway. It's a Travel Tuesday. Let's play our favorite travel guessing game. Where in the world? I love this. Excuse me, it inspires us to go to these amazing places, even if it's just in our imagination. And there's a bit of a FIFA World Cup vibe around here. And that'll be one of our clues coming through. But we got some clues. You let us know on our social media platforms where our mystery destination is. Do you want to kick off
Well,
the
we've
clues?
got a few clues for you and beautiful pictures. So the first clue is this morning we're looking for the name of a city in Qatar, the destination for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. It's a cultural hub and the fastest growing city in Qatar. I feel like it's a dead giveaway.
It
That
must be a
first
dead
clue.
giveaway. I've been in an airport there, at least. The city is home to a few famous archaeological works, including the Al Zubarah Fort, which was Qatar's first UNESCO World Heritage Site.
And
Beautiful.
this coastal city has one of the most architecturally modern promenades. The Corniche is a waterfront studded with exciting green surroundings and great views.
Right, lifestyles of the rich and famous, yo. You can also visit the Pearl, a man-made island development covering 400 hectares of reclaimed land. Wow.
Sure, that looks incredible.
So awesome.
And the city is also home to the Souk Waqif, or the standing market. It's always bustling with people walking around the alleys and buying traditional garments, spices and souvenirs. Definitely a
There's a
place
World
to
Cup
add
already on offer there.
to your bucket list.
That's awesome, man. So hopefully that's inspired you to see the world in a different light. Let us know where in the world our mystery destination is. Hit us up at Expresso Show is the handle to use.
Well, almost can't believe it's that time again. Winner Home, South Africa's favorite interior design reality TV show, is back with a brand new 5th season, and entries are open for design duos right now. Now, with a grand prize of 100,000 Rand at stake, is the perfect foot in the door for any aspiring young creative out there. Now, we're joined this morning by two men whose lives were absolutely changed by the competition. Season 1 winner and former Winner Home judge Dr Nxumalo, as well as 2016 winner Rudolph Jordaan. Gentlemen, welcome to your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Thank you.
Can you believe we're entering season 5 already, eh?
It's unbelievable, and Cape Town is such a lovely place to do it, and Partyflay is just around the corner.
That's the thing, that's the thing. Donald, let's start with you. I mean, your career absolutely skyrocketed after being on the show, as well as a participant and a judge as well. But how do you feel that you have grown in your career? What stands out for you, your passion within the industry?
You know, I think the biggest prize is obviously the exposure that you get from a competition like this. You imagine being for weeks on television and people get to see you, they get to see your talent, you get to grow and show off your best self.
They get to know you.
They get to know you, and so it's actually easier for you to set up your business right after that because, you know, you've got that exposure, yeah.
And how's business doing at the moment?
I mean, I always say that we are blessed with challenges and we're moving swiftly along, and that just is a testament to the lots of work that you get but from the work that you get, you build upon that. So nothing's really easy or it's never given to you. You have to take it and run with it.
Yeah, and I love that, man. And I'm so happy that, I mean, you had that platform and a stepping stone to point you in the direction that really embodies your passion as well.
Absolutely.
Rudolph, let's go back to 2016 for you. I mean, being on Winner Home and going through all of those challenges and I don't know, blood, sweat and tears at certain stages. What is it that you took out of that competition?
Well, the 2016 competition was really different to what they have now with the design duos. So it was really challenging to be a designer by yourself, going through all these challenges and completing all these rooms with the pressure of doing something for a state like Val de Vie, which is very esteemed. Working alongside a magazine. I worked with Real Estate Magazine at that time. And then also to produce some content that people will appeal to and will be appealing. And, but it was great fun, and we had so much fun.
I mean, if you think about, if you're going back now, what previous kind of experience have you had before entering a platform in a scenario like this? I mean, were you prepared at all, or did you learn as you go along?
Well, that was my biggest challenge, was to actually show, I was a lecturer at that time, to show my students what the real life is being a designer and the real challenges behind all of that.
And that is as real as it gets, Rudolph. Sorry to interrupt you there, but I would love to know what impact did that make on your life specifically, where you are currently?
Yeah, well, I started my own business called Apex Design, and it's really been going strength to strength to strength, and we love what we do.
I just love that, man. You step onto a platform like this and look at where you are now. You have your own business. I mean, it was an incredible moment for the both of you as well. Donald, as a former winner and a judge on the show as well, I can only imagine, you know, how you must feel just thinking about new participants coming into the new season now as well. What advice would you give to a creative duo or maybe a creative person stepping into or thinking about stepping into the shoes of a designer on the show?
What I love about the show's direction is that the show's not looking for a designer per se. We're looking for people with a passion for design and people who think they can become designers. So you could be a lawyer or an accountant, or you could come from any background really, and as long as you have a best friend that you think you could do it with, you can come here and show your creative flair and you could make a career out of this.
Absolutely wise words there. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and thank you. I'm sure you're going to be watching or keeping a close eye on those new creatives and duos that's coming through. It's going to be rather exciting. But there are a couple of T's and C's that you need to know about if you want to enter this season 5. In order to enter Winner Home season 5 as a design duo, one of the pair needs to have a tertiary qualification in design. It doesn't specifically have to be interior design. Just keep note of that. It could be fine art, architecture, or any other relative creative field. And I mean, this is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And you have up until this Friday, the 27th of July, to enter, and you can visit winnerhome.tv for all of those details.
What the fridge? Shut the front door. Winner Home is back. Yes! The 5th season of Winner Home is looking for contestant design duos. And this year it's happening in the glorious Cape. If you think you have what it takes to serve up some design razzle and dazzle and have the eye for details, then apply now to be one of the design duos, each decorating an apartment in Somerset West. Competing for the title of Best Design Duo and stand the chance of winning a cash prize worth 100,000 Rand!
Season 5 of Winner Home is looking for 3 design duos who will decorate 3 penthouse apartments on the Pontyclun Lifestyle Estate in Somerset West, developed by Baldwin Properties.
For details of how to apply, go to winnerhome.tv. This is your opportunity to make a name for yourself in the South African interior design industry and make the stage yours. Apply now to be a design contestant duo on winnerhome.tv. Coming soon to SABC3. The stage is yours!
Well, when it comes to shopping, you do not need to tell me anything more because we're asking you, do you think you can shop? Well, here's your opportunity to prove your shopping skills and to win big with Blue Route Mall. Now, 2 lucky shoppers will be winning a brand new Kia Picanto valued at over 130,000 Rand. And all you need to do is head on over to Blue Route Mall, spend 250 Rand or more, and you'll be entered into one of the 2 grand finales. That's not all. Winners and, viewers and shoppers, they can also enter into Facebook competitions for a chance to win vouchers. That's from various stores in Blue Route Mall. The competition closes on August 26th, so those T's and C's do apply.
So we're going to take the quickest of breaks. When we return, I'm going to sit down with one of my favorite human beings on this planet. JP Sebastian is going to take us through some of the coolest new movie trailers hitting the big screens. And then we're going to whistle our way to an easy meal. I think you know what I'm talking about. We'll see you in a sec.
Enjoy a moment in between with McAfee. See you after the break.
Join the party on #TopBilling this Saturday evening at 6 with self-made man Priven Reddy.
So you guys want to know how I went from taking a taxi to flying first class globally? Tune in to find out.
Olympic champion Cameron van den Berg weds Nefeli Valakilis in Greece.
My big fat Greek wedding number 3 with a South African twist. You don't want to miss this one. That's this Saturday, 6 p.m. on SABC3. The stage is yours.
welcome back. You're live with Expresso. As I said earlier, sitting down with one of my favorite human beings on this planet, or any planet, whether it's in the Marvel universe or beyond, Mr. Yappy, Funny Yappy, JP Sebastian. Love you, dude, especially when you bring the latest movie trailers and get us excited about some pretty cool. And this is a big one. This is a lot of pressure because this comic is quite unique. Even the coffee machine was punctuating.
Pretty psyched about that, yeah.
Shazam!
It's not the most, elegant sounding name by the like just straight off the bat. I know nothing about Shazam, and I don't have a lot of faith just looking at that name. But the trailer came out along with the Comic-Con dump this weekend in San Diego.
It's getting traction online, dude.
I was pleasantly surprised.
It
actually, because I mean, just our cameraman was saying now too that he didn't have faith in the guy Zachary Levi who plays him, who is from Chuck, the TV series. But actually, it's got some good comedic chops. Like so. Anyway, the story being that this kid who's going from foster home to foster home, he never feels settled. He never feels like he's got a family who understands him. Gets into a new one, and there he meets this other kid who's differently abled, and he comes to his aid and protection against bullies. For that noble act, a wizard obviously grants him powers. We're just waiting for our moment, aren't we, Graham?
It's coming.
Still feeling pretty weak. And just by the powers of saying Shazam, gets transformed into a full-grown man and a superhero. And so that premise is totally stupid at the outset. But as the movie is totally aware that it's for kids and that it's stupid. And maybe it's just the breath of fresh air that DC needs.
I was going to say, because DC has gone pretty dark, and they've created this very dark narrative with most of their characters. Maybe
what did you say, Martha?
Yeah, what did you say? And maybe Batman is a big part of that, and trying to compete with the Marvel universe has played a role
and
there.
And like you said, you watched Ragnarok the other day. You're just happy to see something light for a change.
Yeah.
Give you a little taster, because you couldn't hear probably there in that one. For example, they're trying to figure out what are my superpowers. So he's like, dude, I can't even figure out how to pee in this thing just yet. Which is a good question about superhero costumes. Anyway, that's April next year in South Africa.
Okay, now on the flip side of that, we move to September the 28th when Overlord shall be releasing.
And what could be more wholesome than killing Nazis? So Overlord is set around it was Operation Overlord, that was the storming of Normandy in World War II. But there's this special team of American soldiers that have to go behind enemy lines, drop in there, and find out about a secret Nazi experiment. What's key about Overlord, I think, for a lot of people, is that J.J. Abrams is producing. And so a lot of people like his eye and his ability for twists and actually imbuing something with a bit more of mythology than just scorp and skit. But it does look action-packed, it does look exciting. And
it's epic.
What is really interesting is that obviously it's got the World War II theme, it's got fighting Nazis, but it's also got horror. A horror bent to it. Because the experiment that the Nazis are working on is possibly zombies, possibly spooks and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think that's something that we've seen on a large commercial stage before. And
we know there was a very strong connection to the supernatural within that
they
Nazi
were obsessed
kind of
with
mindset.
The occult.
Yeah,
those horrible weirdos.
Shades of reality and something that looks very dark and quite scary.
And a bunch of people who are, already trying to tie it into the Cloverfield universe, but J.J. Abrams has been mum on that right now.
Then stop the clock, get off the bus, stop the train, boom, it is back. Dun, dun, dun. Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Someone's excited.
Yeah, man, I love it. Well, I mean,
did you get
awesome.
stuck into the Harry Potter series?
I'm over and over and over, dude. I cannot wait to read them with my boy. I cannot wait to watch them with my boy.
It's the feeling of being transported,
Because they do it so well, and they do it with monstrously big budgets.
Yes.
That's why it sells.
It's polished. And this one comes out in South Africa in November. Obviously, it sees now right at the end of the first one, it was Johnny Depp who showed his face, who at Comic-Con actually was booed when this trailer came out. And then, lo and behold, who comes out as a special guest, and everyone's kind of awkward that they were like, we just booed Johnny Depp. But yeah, he plays the bad guy in this, or should I say, plays Johnny Depp. But what is cool is it's got Jude Law, who plays Dumbledore, and I like Jude Law a lot. You said that you love Eddie Redmayne. It's got Zoe Kravitz. And so, yeah, it's very much a similar story to, I think, the X-Men universe, where you've got Magneto saying, no, there should be this pure race of special wizard types.
Purebloods.
And then on the other side of things, you've got Newt Scamander, who is Eddie Redmayne. I don't know why I just did that. I have had way too much sugar. Who is on the side of the muggles, the human beings. So it's that kind of dynamic, but yeah, hopefully it takes your mind to a
and it's nice
place.
to see this universe, we've used that term quite a lot, being transported to the American, kind of Americanizing that.
Yeah. We're so obsessed with wizards must have British accents, but that's come on. I mean,
it's all-star cast. David Yates at the helm, a lot of pressure on him, but just looking at the little snippet there. So I would suggest you go and check out these trailers online as well. Get inspired about some of the movies that are coming out over the rest of the year. Dude, you've inspired us. That was a great selection today. Thank you, man.
That one's November, by the way. Fantastic.
Well, we have a very exciting giveaway for the Adrift movie. Now, Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin, they star in this romantic drama based on a biographical novel set in 1983 about a couple who are left stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean after a hurricane and must find their way to Hawaii with a damaged ship and no radio. Now, this heartbreaking true story about the fight for survival against the harsh current of nature is sure to be a tearjerker. And we're giving 5 of you lucky viewers the chance to win one of 5 amazing Kindles valued at 2,000 Rand. So you can watch the movie and use your new Kindle to read the book right afterwards. And if you're feeling lucky, visit the Expresso Facebook page, find the competition post and share a photo of you and the person who you'd want to be stuck on a ship with and let us know why. The competition closes on Friday, the 27th of July at 5 p.m. and those T's and C's can be found on our website. That's expressoshow.com.
All right, so I had the great honor, I will say, of being a part of the launch of one of the coolest products I think out there because it's healthy. It really does pack a punch when it comes to flavor, and it is oh so easy. And most importantly, it whistles when it's done. We're talking about how beautiful it is. It's just the coolest thing. But it's not a gimmick at all. They have pumped huge amounts of resources and research and development into creating this perfect product, courtesy of the Whistling Chef. So basically, you just pop it in your microwave and it whistles and you are eating and generally singing because it's so delicious. The Alfredo flavor is undoubtedly my favorite.
This is what you could be making. So, I mean, this really helps you out. If you're going to come home and you realize there's nothing in the fridge, there's nothing that you prepared, so this is your go-to thing. So we're going to pop this in the microwave, showing you how easy it is. Just like that. Bam.
Ideally, I mean, I was working with Pearl Tusi and Joanne Strauss, moms who care a huge amount about what goes into their beautiful little children's bodies. And we're talking 0 preservatives, really well balanced, absolutely amazing, just delicious. And it takes up to 2 to 3 minutes. I will generally eat about 5 in one sitting because they are so cool. The bolognese is amazing, but as I said, the Alfredo is awesome. And you just wait until that whistle. And as someone who can't really whistle...
how does that tune go again?
Oh, no, I can't even remember. What? I'm absolutely useless.
Fail. We'll leave it for the Alfredo.
Dude, your boys, I mean, obviously Jack is a little bit young to be eating this kind of thing as still being a baby, but your boys are growing strong.
They will devour.
A dancer now. He needs to get the nutrients in. How much sense does this make to you, having a meal that is this healthy, that is this easy?
We always try and, get them to eat healthy, but obviously with my days being very, very full and my wife running around looking after the kids at school, it's this, it's that, there's lots, and she's also doing a photography thing on the side, which gets pretty busy. So when nighttime comes, like, okay, what are we going to eat? What are we going to eat? And you don't want to go for the fast food option, because we really want to make sure that we take care of their nutrition. So this is definitely one instance. If we are in that pickle, get one of these guys and pop it in the microwave. It's going.
Hello.
It's going. It's waking up. But listen, to accompany.
There it is. There it is.
So
let that whistle bowl, let it bowl, let it bowl.
So is that pretty much...
We are ready to go, my friend.
That was so quick. So anything between 2 and 4 minutes to make it heat, and you can start smelling that as well. While that goes, I'm going to put together a nice little nutritious salad to go with our Alfredo. So we've got some cucumber that we're going to go on there. Very, very easy. Some red onion for the sweetness.
This is one of my favorite salads. I'm going to just open
some
that
olives.
up.
And this is, very, very easy. And then we just crumble some feta on here as well.
Oh, yummy.
Nice.
Smell that, dude.
Oi, that smells amazing.
You could have actually made this salad in the same amount of time,
dude,
that it takes to get our Alfredo going.
Absolutely. I mean, look how quickly this is. I mean, this is your dinner sorted, man. Very, very quickly. Just like that. A little bit of fennel, just on the top.
Dude, that's fresh. It's got pop, it's got punch, it's got texture. This is the kind of thing that Lindsay and I absolutely love to eat. It's fresh, and you've got this wholesome deliciousness, packs a punch when it comes to vitamins and flavour, and we've got a beautiful, crunchy, fresh accompaniment. So just I'm quickly running you through, like every night of the week, you're sorted. Monday nights, suggestion, creamy Alfredo, ribbons of delicious linguine, playfully tangled together with fresh mushrooms and bacon, drenched in a rich clover cream sauce, and that's what we're doing here. But on Tuesday, you can go for the creamy macaroni and cheese. Wednesday, maybe the spaghetti bolognese. On Thursday night, the beef lasagne. And on Friday night, the cottage pie, because it's just so wholesome. It's real comfort food, man. That is beautiful.
Italian.
So what's the keyword there?
So no, that's no keyword right there. You can just check it out on our website as well for all the the recipes. But I mean, this is so easy. Cucumber, red onion, olives, feta, some fennel, drizzle with olive oil. Bam, you have it, and you have a nutritious meal for the entire family. Because the hashtag, the Whistling Chef, really taking care of your evening meals, especially if you are super busy over the weekend, the weekdays, like most of us pretty much are. We're all hustling, doing our thing. So there we have it. I
can see food this easy makes them quite emotional, because we have that kind of connection to our food. But there you have it, a beautiful way to look after yourself and your family every night of the week.
From beef lasagna to creamy macaroni and cheese, Clover the Whistling Chef's high-quality, ready-to-eat meals are made using trusted Clover cheese, milk and cream. It's SA's favorite home-cooked recipes, now prepared and conveniently packed with a variety to choose from. Added to that, Africa's first vac seal technology ensures they're kept fresher for longer for the whole family to enjoy. The Whistling Chef. Heat, whistle, eat, sing. It's as simple as that. Made with love by Clover.
Well, there are more fun and games coming your way on your Feel Good Breakfast show. The last time JP Sebastian hashtag Dr Ouma, there was a matrix move involved. So I'm quite interested to see what he's going to do this time around when he hashtags Dr Ouma after the break. And we also have Drummers Unite SA in our studio. They've got another performance set to come your way, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you after this quick break.
100 years of Mandela's legacy. It's a moment for us as South Africans to celebrate him and his family and the sacrifices that he's made for our country. The quality I live by the most would be my compassion and understanding of people, and also having the ability not just to explain and give people things, but also to take a step back and listen and understand.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. Time to talk movies again. We've got so many bumper movies coming out that we thought we'd delve into a few more of those that have really grabbed our attention and, more importantly, grabbed our movie corp, as Leanne always calls you.
Yes.
JP Sebastian's imagination, and is looking good. M. Night Shyamalan is back. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, the last one was Split with James McAvoy, who returns in this one, which is the culmination of a trilogy, and no one knew it. So I feel like we didn't give this guy enough credit. M. Night Shyamalan, the director, who we thought was cheesy for The Happening, which was bad. But 20 years in the making, from Unbreakable, the story with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and then later comes Split. With James McAvoy, and you find that they're all in the same universe.
I had no idea.
And you know what I mean. But the dude deserved way more credit for it. So in this one, they're all in an institution where a psychologist is. What was that laugh?
It's just so cool, man. You're weaving things together in my mind.
So she's interested in people who have delusions of grandeur, delusions that they have superhero powers, and what the fine line is between actually having those things and not having those things. So obviously Bruce Willis is this guy who believes he's a superhero defender of justice across the world, kind of thing.
Because he is.
Possibly. And obviously James McAvoy, and I think it's his 24 other personalities, are all hosts to a great evil becoming of the Beast, which is one of those 24 personalities. And Glass, who is Samuel L. Jackson, obviously is this instigator between
just a really
these two
bad
worlds.
man.
Yeah. I'm so keen. I really am keen. I feel like, shame, like I said, Shyamalan wasn't given the right time of day to just know if he had just waited a bit longer to see what he was crafting behind
he stays true to himself and his vision, which we've got to applaud him for.
And that vision is January.
Then how many times can you make this movie? Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Hope that this is the fight to end all fights, because everything else feels like this anyway, like Pacific Rim. Feels like
it is the king of all monsters.
Off-cuts, but yes, this is a pretty grand name and kicking down the door kind of interest. Although Godzilla is still going to team up apparently with Kong at a later stage. But in this one, it's Mothra and Rodan, who's flying reptile dude, and Mothra is clearly a moth. And King Ghidorah, who is like this Hydra creature from another planet. You don't see much of them in the trailer, but you do see, good grief, Sally Hawkins, who I love dearly in The Shape of Water.
Say, man.
Vera Farmiga, who was directed by James Wan in The Conjuring, who is directing the next movie I'm talking about. And Millie Bobby Brown, obviously from Stranger Things.
I'm seeing Ken Watanabe there. Is this a continuation of what we've seen?
Yes. So, of course, it's all in the same universe. But what I'm so excited about, even though you just get tasters and tidbits in it, I told myself, because a lot of other critics and reviewers were saying, oh, we're getting goosebumps for this trailer. And I was like, I'm going to watch this totally impartially. And I sat there just with my hair on end because of the visuals. It's going to be one of those monster movies that's like, this is what cinema is for.
Yeah, epic,
Use
man.
every inch of the screen and put the humans on as a sideshow and then go at it. But hey.
Well, talking about humans being the sideshow, I'm seeing about 1 million sharks being the sideshow there. Aquaman. He's the most frowned upon superhero, and I think he gets a bum rap when it comes to me. But now he's been given Jason Momoa, who is charged with bringing him to life. But this is his independent story. When we step back, and we've used universe 1 million times, it's the DC universe again. What's going on? What's going on with?
Origin story of Aquaman. That's a particularly cheesy scene. I'm not keen on that. But anyway, nevertheless, Jason Momoa finds finally his origin story after the Justice League movie. Marvel just needs to settle down for a bit, and like Shazam that I spoke about earlier, just dig into single characters maybe for a bit longer. And so Jason Momoa, I liked him in Justice League. I think he's got like a great sense of humor as well.
He doesn't
he's a
take
bit
it
of
too
a
seriously,
cushy teddy bear who's a bit grumpy. But the movie seems a bit similar to another one where a vengeant brother comes back to the empire to overthrow a king of a hidden empire, and they have to have like a battle.
There's nothing wrong with archetypal stories.
I'm talking about Wakanda basically. So it's just Wakanda underwater. It was really difficult to say, and I used like 4,000.
Well, then it must be awesome. Then it must be awesome, dude.
No,
I love that.
Hey, I love Jason Momoa. That one is, May next year.
It says here December the 21st.
JP lies.
I know, but we've gotten used to it, man. No, it looks awesome, and of course, witness the fitness in the form of Jason Momoa. Certainly the ladies, Leanne, I mean, will absolutely love it. Dude, you brought us some great movies today. Thank you so much, man. It looks like we're entering into another little mini golden era for local cinema.
It's ambitious.
Oh man, that movie looks epic, absolutely epic. But listen, right now focusing on a movie you spoke about earlier on this morning called Adrift. Now, Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin star in this romantic drama based on a biographical novel set in 1983. And it's about a couple who are left stranded in the middle of the Pacific Ocean after a hurricane and must find their way to Hawaii with a damaged ship and no radio. Now, this heartbreaking true story about the fight for survival against the harsh current of nature is sure to be a tearjerker. Now, We're giving 5 of you lucky viewers the chance to win one of 5 amazing Kindles valued at 2,000 Rand. So you can watch the movie and then use your new Kindle to read the book right after. So if you're feeling lucky, visit the Expresso Facebook page, find the competition post and share a photo of you and the person you'd want to be stuck on a ship with and why. The competition closes this Friday, the 27th of July at 5 p.m. and T's and C's do apply. You can find them on our website, expressoshow.com, but get entering right away.
In continuing to celebrate Mandela Month, there's a fantastic social enterprise. It's called Work for You, and they act as a bridge to where special education needs ends and a supported work environment begins.
Work for You as an organisation has at its heart finding real and meaningful occupation and work for youngsters with intellectual disabilities, and we help them to prepare and find employment in the open labour market, and of course we also help them to retain that position over a period of many years. The most difficult problem that anybody with any disability for that matter faces is the fear that people out there who are not disabled have. And so we come alongside and we say to the employer, you don't have to fear employing this person because we are there to help you cope with any of the problems you might encounter with this person.
The vehicle for training young adults in work habits, social and work skills, as well as integration into the job market is a purpose-designed pet snack business.
Work for You is a social enterprise, but we're also a non-profit organisation. So what we have done is we have our pet treat manufacturing side of our business. So that is what we call Wagalots for dogs and Purlots for cats. Primary goal with the Wagalots and baking process is to provide an avenue for training the work skills so that our members are not actually viewed as students, they're viewed as real workers and members of staff. The thing that I enjoy most is knowing that when I walk through the doors, I'm going to be greeted with happy faces, friendly people, and in fact a group of youngsters that would much rather be at work than sitting at home.
What I've learned here about at Work for You, who taught me here at Work for You is and how to become a very good employee, and which is very proactive, and how to learn very good life skills. Well, what I mostly really enjoy here about Work for You is where we have met everyone here who are all the team members of Work for You and who have made good friends with. Yes, and that we are all a very good teamwork as we all work together with all this Wagalot dog biscuit baking.
Rules at work like behave, smile, greeting, help, stop, listen to five. And I'm going to give you rules. No swearing, no fighting, no funny sounds. I join rolling, cutting and fork, like mixing dough from dogs' biscuits and cats' biscuits.
I've learned to travel safe and having respect for current people, adults, being more matured. I like working, like working with cooking stuff.
It is now the 12th year that Work for You continue to successfully place our fellow job seekers with intellectual disabilities in meaningful work. Long may they prosper.
All right. I've been bracing myself. Hopefully you've been bracing yourself. My poor director is having an apoplectic fit downstairs because it's time for JP Sebastian to dip our Ouma. So you brought us the Matrix dip, which is undoubtedly The most spectacular
Still
Dipper
recovering.
Ouma.
I have like a kilogram of platinum in my spine.
Dude, and it was worth it. Adamantium you have in your spine.
Sure, let's call it that.
So this one, it's another, we've moved from a Matrix-inspired to a superhero-inspired.
Naturally, JP's the movie guy, so decided he'd take a dip into the superhero realm of things.
So which universe, Marvel or DC?
This will be Marvel, most definitely. So hopefully it's less dramatic than DC, but I can assure you at least 2 people will die this morning. I have.
What do you mean? There's only 2 of us, dude. What do you? Yeah. What do you mean by that? Okay, so set the scene for us.
I've had a good long life, so you know how in every superhero movie when you stick a landing, you're like flying from outer space, you've got to go down on one knee like that.
Yeah.
Crush the ground.
Okay.
Well, this is how I decided to end it all this morning.
Okay.
So to my mom and dad, I love you dearly.
Well, I suppose I should say that as well. I love you, family. I love you, man.
And to any other human being who has ever cared for me or who I owe money to.
Okay, so let me set the scene here. In an uncertain future, 1 man, 1 rusk,
2 brain cells.
A hero is called upon to dip a Ouma.
You say the word.
Go for it.
Captain America slogan! It wasn't so bad.
Hey, I was expecting you to injure yourself. I really was. Take nothing away. Can we get one more look? Can we get one more look in slow motion? Dun, dun. Cue triumphant, epic music. That was amazing. Have you got another one in you? Could you do one more?
I have 2 kneecaps. Like, I have 1 more.
Look, I'm going to count my lucky stars because I wasn't injured. What are you going to call it, dude?
The Captain Omarika.
I don't even know, we're going to have to vet that. So that has undoubtedly made it onto our Dipper Ouma Wall of Fame. Can I get a resounding round of applause for our special effects and for JP Sebastian?
Dr. Darren Green, please.
He does his own stunts, ladies and gentlemen, and you can have the opportunity to join him on our Dipper Ouma Wall of Fame. You've got to show us a picture of you dipping our Ouma in a creative way. Please keep it injury-free, or maybe you can show how you or your family or someone already special to you dips our Ouma. We'll send you a hamper, hopefully, of just about every flavor variant that exists. I've seen lemon cream has now made it in as a very special addition to our Ouma range. Brother, that was amazing. Okay, give it one more try. One more try. Come on.
Oh, good grief.
Come on.
Okay, I'm going for gold here. Seriously, there's going to be splashes, and it's not just going to be coffee.
The sequel to end all sequels.
So that's dramatic.
Captain Omarika.
Captain Omarika! Okay, I missed it because I was so panicked that a kneecap lands straight in the coffee and there's bone shrapnel.
We accept no responsibility for any injuries.
Cozy up this winter and Dipper Ouma.
I think it's safe to say there was too much for me to handle and for our boys here this morning as well. Thank you very much, JP. Wow. Listen, the gents from Drummers Unite SA, they will be back with another epic performance after the break. It's going to be a quick one, so don't move.
I'm taking you all to Reunion Island.
This Thursday, Presenter Search on 3 goes international as the remaining 6 contestants jet off to Reunion. Follow their adventures on this volcanic island in the heart of the Indian Ocean. Catch all the drama with Presenter Search on 3, Thursday night at 7:30 on SABC3. Repeat Saturday at 12 midday. The stage is yours.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Time for just one more stellar performance. You guys have brought such a breath of fresh air, so thank you so much to Drummers Unite SA. You can catch them live celebrating 5 incredible years at Steenberg High School. You can check out Lance's Facebook page. We'll have all of those details of how you can get tickets on our website as well. They have got one more performance, and it's quite apt. Gone, but not forgotten. Gents, the stage is yours.
Man. He plays that tambourine, makes me want to become a musician.
Man, hey? And that bass solo.
So much fun.
Superb, guys. Please go and support them. I know by the end of the year, Drummers Unite SA, they're going to go for a Guinness World Record with 1,000 drummers all performing. But you can see them perform this Friday night, Steenberg High. And we'll have those details on our website. Guys, thank you so much. Absolute champions.
Really,
well done.
Listen, just to quickly run you through what's happening tomorrow. It's the middle of the week. It's a Wednesday. Parenting advice, fostering a relationship between a step-parent and a child. Very important subject. We have a performance by Shrek the Musical. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And of course, it's the culinary hotline. Bling, sing, sing, sing. It's a Wednesday tomorrow. Have a lucky one, guys. Enjoy it. Makes this Tuesday your own. And just be safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
We love you. Never forget it. Adios.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.